Was good, was good, was good, man. We back. Sorry but not sorry. Boxing Talk Roundtable Show, episode 6, man. Definitely live and direct. We here with it, man. I got a great show in store for you for sure. Big Play Sports, salute to my dog. What's good with you, brother? What's good? How you feeling, man? How you feeling? Yeah, man. I got a great show in store, man, for sure. And I'm gonna have some of my peoples on the panel with me today. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I'm gonna open up the panel for real, for real. Allow people to, you know what I'm saying, cover all of this topics that we got today, man, for sure. Ace Austin was good, my brother. Salute my dog, Ace Austin, man. Always, man, for sure, man. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Today. Great show, man. We're gonna recap the fights from this weekend, from Friday and last night, and of course, the main topic of the show for sure is we're gonna do a 2025 first half review of the year, man. Just gonna kind of recap some of these the most significant fights that happened this year, and definitely gonna cover some of the recent events, the recent topics that happened today. You know what I'm saying? We got Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney got announced just now in November. So we definitely gonna talk about that for sure. And we definitely gonna talk about Chris Eubank Jr. and Connor Ben. The rematch just got announced as well, man. So we definitely gonna talk about that for sure as well. Ring Wild Boxing Podcast, my brother, man. You already know. My family, you know the vibes, man. Just getting, you know what I'm saying, waiting for some people to get up in here a little bit. I'm gonna put the link in the comments already. You heard. You know what I'm saying? My boy Big Play Sports said Floyd Schofield is the real deal, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. He looks sharp. We definitely gonna cover that for sure too, man. We gonna cover that for sure. We gonna talk about that. Yeah, I mean for sure, man. I got videos and everything to show up on the show today, man. So I prepared this show. It took me last 3 hours preparing this show, man. So definitely ready to get it going for real. And the link in the comments, Bean, for StreamYard, bro. Let me get on here. I gotta pin it real quick too. Let my peoples know on Facebook that I'm live now too. All right. What was that right there? Thomas Hill, my brother.
It's the network. It's the network. Turn your Mickey Freaky TVs on, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
tapping
I'm
into
glad
the
you're here,
network.
man, for that first half review, man. You already know we was doing it today, man. So it's lit, man. I got we're gonna lot to cover. We're gonna recap the fights from last night. And the recap the fights from Friday and Saturday. And we're gonna go in and talk about some of the recent events that that's going down. And we're gonna do we're gonna recap some of the most significant fights of the first half of 2025 this year. I got video clips and everything, man. So we got a good show in store, man, for everybody, man.
And
And
don't forget, man, you're going to recap the recap just for recap.
absolutely. I love that.
But anyway, man, shout out to Big Play Sports. Shout out to Ace Solston. Shout out my man Ring Walk. That's the only
Yeah,
way
he
my
about to
Mickey
come
Freaky
over
Ring
here.
talk.
Jag
Shout
Queen
out to
Boxing Sister
Jab
was
Queen.
good. The link up there, sis.
Yeah, the one who gives you all types of smoke is in the building. It's Jab Queen Boxing. Shout out to Ty Drake for phenomenal show she puts on.
Man, yeah, his
And
show
the
last
dollar
night was
is
lit, man. We was
it
lit on there
was.
last night.
It was, man. I ain't gonna even lie, dog. And in the process of that, we had something unexpected happen in the tail end of the recording, man. You know what I'm saying? I did not expect to see Tevin get sparked like that by Young Bull. But
Man,
Young,
bro, tell me about it, bro. Like, like we was watching that live while we like
yeah,
Sis was about to close up shop on the show, and
closed just
then
to get
that
ready to
shit
go check
fight
it
come
out.
on, boom. I'm like, whoa.
Yo, it was literally like you just said, closing up to go check out the fight, and the fight check her
Man,
out.
bro, that shit was crazy, bro. Like
That
I'm
was, bro.
still like, man, I'm still in awe about that shit. And I was watching Kid Austin earlier. He was on he was on Mill City talking about him, and talk about the fight and everything. Talk
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, told
yeah.
I gotta show. I want to show the clip from that last night
Show
too,
that
man.
clip.
It, yeah, yeah, man. It was nasty, bro. It was nasty.
Snatchy. It was snatchy. Shout out my
It was
guy.
nasty work, bro. It
Shout
was
out my man
nasty.
Gwittius Paper. It was nasty.
Jag Queen boxing was good, sis. How you feeling?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely, man. So we can go and get started, man. So the first fight of this weekend, what I'm saying, was Deontay Wilder versus Tyrell Herndon up in Kansas on Black Prom. And Deontay Wilder, he ended up getting the win. And we can go ahead and show this clip of Deontay's Wilder getting it cracking.
So far for Wilder, and we've seen him use the jab before in other fights. Something that he does have in his arsenal.
That
Nice
check hook.
Yeah, that was the first knockdown in the second round right here. And here goes the closing finishes from Wilder right here.
Wilder's shots are getting through. He hasn't landed flush with that right hand. It's always partially blocked or getting a little bit through the defense, but still not yet connected fully. And there's that right hand, gets through the defense again. And there's a huge right hand.
Yeah, there you go, man. Wilder right there with the 7 round stoppage, man. Friday night, man. So how y'all feel about Wilder's performance from Friday night?
Ladies first.
Okay. um, although he did win, what was that, seventh round
Yep.
stoppage or something
Stoppage.
like that? I do not feel that he should continue. I think that maybe he should just hang it up on a high note because I'm not really sure if he'll be able to compete at the top level. I know we all love Wilder. But I just don't know if I mean, maybe if he takes a few more tune-up fights and then tries to get in there with who is it up there, Anthony Joshua, one of those guys.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just not sure, how successful he'll be at the top level. I think that maybe take the win and kind of wash the taste out of people's mouths from your last maybe performances and just kind of go about your day.
Absolutely. What you think, T Hill?
Well, since you went to T Hill, man, I'm gonna be sorry, but not sorry, man. I love me some Wilder. That's one of my guys. Like, the way he fought, you can see has been totally erased from his memory. Like he's no longer fighting. He's no longer moving the same way that he used to move, and he's like virtually just standing there plotting, and just throwing shots. Now he still haven't lost that ability to throw a right hand that if it connects, it can detonate. But that was against somebody that was ready to be detonated, and he should have detonated him like in first, second round. To be honest, I think that his motor skills ain't what they used to be, man. So it's not allowing him to move as he used to. And on top of that, it seems like he's thinking a little bit more in the ring now. And you can't think in the ring because there's other people who not, or they're thinking at a little bit higher clip than you, and they can get off the fight. So I agree. Like if he is going to continue, he's going to be like one of those type of main attraction type deals where he really not the main event, but he there to just sell the fight. You put him in there with somebody that he can definitely look good against. And then ultimately, if you wanted to make big bread off of him, put him in there with Anthony Joshua, because there's billing behind it. I think he likewise suffered a brutal hit that probably will shake his career because we haven't seen him in the ring since then. And maybe they can rekindle a little bit of that flair that they had once with that fight. But I agree. I don't really believe he's competitive. If he's fighting, he's not going to be fighting at the championship level anymore.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that assessment, brother. Bean, what's good, man? What you think, bro? What about Wilder, man?
What up, family? First of all, y'all, big shout outs to my brother, Cam J.
For sure.
Shout out to Miss Jab Queen and
Most
T Hill,
definitely. You
Salute.
first
know,
and foremost. And super shout out to the man above, waking up another day. All right. So I'm gonna be as honest as I can, fam, because I've been somewhat critical of Wilder. So let me try to be as fair as I can. Basically, it's understood Wilder didn't start boxing professionally to the age of 20. I get, but my thing was from the age of 20, 40 something fights later, that's a long gap of time to at least know basic fundamentals. I ain't saying you're gonna be a Usyk or a Fury. You're just not born with that type of foot movement, and you know what I mean. I understand you ain't gonna be no Usyk or Fury, but from what you did had, you're supposed to build on what you know you got. We know he got power in that right hand. What about the left hand? To me, he don't use his left hand enough. When he is using it, he just powering, he just measuring, setting up the right hand, and it's too noticeable, it's too predictable. Why is it that Tyrell Herndon and other people they're telling him the main thing you need to do in your blueprint, just make sure you keep your left up because you know that right hand gonna be coming. Keep your left up or be ready to nullify his left. I mean his right hand. It shouldn't be that easy for anybody to know exactly your move. If you're playing chess, that's like pretty much telling a person this is what I'm gonna do next. Wilder gives you that. And I never understood that. And that was my criticism with him, really, is just that I understand you ain't the best boxer, but bro, you ain't even trying to do basic fundamentals. And then from your own mouth, you even said you took shortcuts in training. And you said in the interview with power like mine, you don't need skills. So I'm looking at it like, you know what I mean?
I
Yeah,
can
bro.
get that. So ring. I'm sorry, Cam. Go ahead.
Go ahead, sis. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask Ringwalk. So in a sense, I get you feel like he's disrespecting the sport by not even bothering to learn the fundamentals. Is that what you're saying?
In a sense, but I get it at the same time because you're more in it for the fact that you were providing for your daughter. So I do respect that part of it.
No, I agree with you 100% because those are my sentiments as well. So I definitely can agree with that 100%.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And me personally, as far as Wilder's performance, I thought it was decent. It was cool. I definitely agree with all three of you guys. As far as Wilder, as far as like he's not a guy that's at the stage in his career where he's going to fight at a championship level contention right now. Like he's definitely not there, at that point right now. But I will say, in my opinion, I mean, I said this last night, and me far as I feel with Wilder, he should take a couple of more layup fights. You know what I mean? And then take that step up. If he looks decent in those two layup fights, take a couple of more Herndons. You know what I mean? And see where he at. And then that'll be able to be the deciding factor where he's at. But me personally, I would like him to take those two layup fights for real, and be similar like Tommy Hearns and Larry Douglas and them guys. As far as they took a couple of easy fights to end out their career and look good. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm pretty much at with it. As far as that.
Hey, I like to say this too, man. For one, if he is gonna fight, bro, I think at this point in his career, especially at this point in career, and given all the damage that he incurred, some of it not even by the fair track either, was just downright dirty, but it was suffered, it was incurred nonetheless. He gotta really dedicate himself to the conditioning side of the sport. Like one thing, he looked very lethargic. Another thing, he looked very lumbering. He almost looked like he was moving like Herman Monster up in there with them legs. So I think if he's gonna fight, because I agree with you, man. I think that he should just be showcased and fighting showcases until you show that, hey, look, I'm out here sparking stuff, and then you might can get that Joshua fight. Then, like my man, what's the name said, get like my man, Big Play Sports said, probably get a Jake Paul up in there, man, and put some spark to his flame too, man, because I really want to
Right.
see him get flamed out. He's strategically moving around in boxing, and he's getting away with it because my man got the corporate complexion, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I'm gonna share this screenshot of what Dan Raphael spoke about for as Deontay Wilder right here. And he says, spoke to Deontay Wilder's manager, Shelly Finkel, with Wilder winning return Friday night. They now have an offer to fight this fall in South Korea. If the money is real, the plan is to take the fight and then look for a big fight, preferably Anthony Joshua 2026. So, what y'all think about that right there?
Hold on, offer. I mean, is he selling his name at this point, or like what?
Well, is with the fight in South Korea, sound like there's some guys with some big money out there that's offering. I think well, this new company that did the Black Prom, the Global, I can't think of the full name of them. Those guys are working closely with Wilder. It seems. I mean, so they trying to set something all up in South
But
Korea
working with
for him. Go ahead, sis.
No, I was gonna say, but working with him in what way? Because it doesn't look like he's improving much.
And I believe that company you was searching for was MTK Global.
Yeah. Those guys. Yeah, it seems like they just basically they're trying to build their name in boxing a little bit, so they're using Wilder to build their brand. That's what it seems.
Oh, another thing about him, Cam J, I feel like Shelly Finkel is a big part of the blame too of Wilder's development. Yeah, you want to build up a fighter, but they was building him up for a long time before he was stepping up to somebody like a Ortiz or something. They should have gave him the
Yeah,
Klitschko fight. I don't care what nobody say because he had sparred Klitschko for years. He had been through a good amount of fights. He was worthy enough to fight Klitschko just to see if he was at a level way back then.
yep, I agree. And here's another little screenshot right here. This one, boxing fans talking about milking the dying embers of Wilder. Sad to see. Then Raphael, he responds says disagree. Deontay is a grown man making decisions to fight still. Nobody forcing him, and his team doing the best they can to put him in the best position. So what y'all think about that right there?
I mean, I will agree with that take because if you look at the opponent, it wasn't something that can be too damaging to him in this state of his career. Likewise, it
Right.
does give him an opportunity to continue to proliferate a clash flow. So with that, I'm not mad at. And like you said, like Jab said, he probably should fight like layup fights or fighters like that to get his bearings under himself. I think when you said he should have taken it, Ring said he should have taken it and added it to his thing, even though he started late. I agree with that too. I think he became a victim of his own success. And he had dynamite in his hand, and that dynamite sometimes that fuse just after a while it just get faulty and it don't produce the spark that it needs to to detonate everything else. But at that same time, you could have made sure that you're in tremendous shape because when you're fatigued, everything starts to go. You
Right.
start really dropping form. If your form wasn't tight from the beginning, what is it going to be when it's fatigued? You know what I'm saying? If your power was legit in the beginning, but now you're fatigued and you don't have form, how is that going to translate? So, like, he should have always maintained a healthy regimen with his conditioning. And you could really see, because, like, in the clip you showed, it would look like the old school dun 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 monsters, bro. He was moving lumbering, dog, and I don't recall him moving like that. Like his movements look like they've been a little bit recessed as well too. So that is the way to do it, and I'm not mad at him. But I do know in every single flick, every single fashion, any Shelly and any Finkel has never been a good mix. If you think about it, even in videos, they use Shelly or Finkel. The dude was a shade tree person. You know what I'm saying? And I don't trust Shelly Finkel, but what I do know is that I'm pretty sure they know there's certain people he should not be in the ring with. But there are certain people he can get in the ring and look good.
Right.
So hopefully, he gets those fights. And if you see transition to like him looking somewhat close to new, I mean not new, but of old, and he's actually moving a lot better in the ring. Like I say, give him a Joshua because that will be a big fight. Because Joshua lost the sauce too.
Right. Right. And I said that as well. I said both of those guys' punch resistance is both bad because they both then took their fair share of ass whoopings. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, but I would say AJ definitely has the more skills. No, he got more tools in his bag. But at points we seen AJ, he don't use his tools in certain fights. You know what I mean? And like I gave an example. Me and Bean was talking in our boxing chat the other day, and I gave an example. I was like, Anthony Johnson was like that big kid that played football. Like you bring him off the bus because he's the biggest kid on the team and everything. But then you get out there on the field and then he get out there playing a little soft out there. You like, man, this dude big as hell, but he playing soft. Like that's Anthony Joshua with certain fights. You know what I'm saying? Where like he don't utilize his size and his skills and impose his will on certain guys that he was supposed to in certain fights, in my opinion. But I got AJ definitely if they were to square it up and finally fight for AJ and Wilder right now in current state for sure. You know what I mean? But I mean Wilder got a puncher's chance in it though. Still, I would still put that in play as well though, as far as that. But I got AJ winning that though if they was to square it up though. And we can shit. Y'all got any
Yeah, I
more to talk
definitely
about Wilder?
yeah, I could definitely see AJ win that too. Just as far as I'm sorry, my daughter was asking
What's
for my
this?
phone.
What's this? What?
Um, no, as far as can you put that last screenshot back up there from his what was that manager, I believe?
Yeah.
If you could put that back up there, because I don't like the tone in his text. Um, no, the other one about him fighting who he want to fight and all that other crap.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Deontay is a grown man making decisions to fight. Nobody's forcing him, and his team is doing the best we can to put him in the best position. Um. Oh, okay. I guess that's from Dan Raphael making his
Yeah.
assumption. I thought that was like
Yeah,
from
that
one of
was
his
him going
managers or
back and
something.
back with this guy, but I wanted to share that because that was him speaking, basically saying like, nobody forcing him to to fight. You know what I'm saying? He a grown man making his own decisions for his fight and everything, and because a lot of people, it has been a lot of people giving I could say guys that some people that don't like Wilder, they're the ones that saying like, oh, Wilder shouldn't be fighting and stuff like that, and and you got the back and forth with Wilder's fans, his fans, then some of them didn't like the performance where they didn't want to see him as well. So it's just crazy for us that but I agree with everybody. He's a grown man, for us he's gonna make his own decisions out there, and I don't expect Wilder to be up there fighting Alexander Usyk and shit, and and fighting Ajit Cabiel and Moses Atuma and all
Mm-hmm.
them guys. I don't see him doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? I see them guys smoking him right
Hey,
now.
hey,
Like,
hey, Cam. But on top of that, bro, like we gotta think of it like this. I'm Thomas Hill, bro. You Cameron Jackson. How many people was talking about either one of us, whether it be good or bad?
man,
Where you Deontay Wilder, it don't matter what somebody talking about you, and you're accustomed to having people talk about you, whether it's to glow you up or to salt you up. You used
right.
to that, and when you get into that point where you know you maybe not operating on that same level, it's like the movie Any Given Sunday. Remember the old quarterback, the
Yeah.
new quarterback coming in, Jamie Foxx, electrifying, people buzzing. My man didn't like the fact that he wasn't really ready to get back in the game. He knew that. But what he missed was the glory. What he missed was the glam. He missed like the thrill and the agony of the moment and things like that. And you know, when he saw the young buck getting it, he like, yo, bro, like put me up in, I'm ready to go. Clear me, let me play, dog. I missed that. Even though this dude might be better for it right now, I miss that. I need that. I crave that. I yearn for that. And he looking at all these new cats coming around. Some of them not even put the skin in the teeth the way in the game the way that he did, but yet they getting pub, good or bad or indifferent. He getting pub, and that's what he like. And I mean, you talking about going to South Korea? Hey, they appreciate spectacle in those
Right.
countries, and they will pay top billing for spectacle. Deontay Wilder is a spectacle. Now he's starting to live up to the last name because his performances is getting wilder and wilder, bro. But I still
Yeah.
rock with him though. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, for
I'll say one
sure.
more thing if you don't
Go ahead,
mind.
Bing.
See, like with Wilder, the fact that he was given supernatural power, he was blessed with that kind of power. Just is his, his DNA is the way he is. But it was such an allure because he could knock out guys when he touched them. And even David Hay, who used to spar him, was saying, man, Wilder got this devastating power. So that's like, man, when people see it, you're like, dang, man, how can somebody who does that? You know what I mean? Like, who does that? You hit somebody with the right hand, they go. If it lands flush, they go. But Mark Breland said years ago, what if that punch don't be the shot that keeps your man down? What if it knocks him down but don't keep him down? I want to work with Wilder. I want Wilder to do some other things. This is what Mark Breland said. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this has been talked about in the early stages of his career. I mean, what more does a person need to tell you if Mark Breland say it, and then other people are saying, "Well, get rid of Malik Scott." It's like it ain't that, man. It's more of Wilder. It's the man in the mirror. It's I feel like he the one that want to do what he want to do, and he's not being really receptive to certain ideas. I know people like that. You try to have a conversation with them, like I won't say a name, but even in my own family, I tell a certain person, do this, do that. No, no, no. But another family member tell them the same thing I'm telling them, and they want to agree to it. It's like I was just telling you that same thing.
Yeah, I always tell people, see the message, damn the messenger. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's a person that you may not be too fond of or, look at in the best of lights, the whole message may miss you, even though it's a valid message. You know what I mean?
Facts, facts. And I feel like Breland had his best interest at hand, but that's the guy you get rid of. He's the reason why you were able to fight last night because he threw in the towel. It wasn't looking good. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's just a whole lot, man. But I ain't gonna sit here and keep blabbing about that one.
Oh no, yeah, you was on point, bro. You was definitely on point for sure, man. For
Hey,
sure.
so
Hey,
much on point. Hey, if you don't mind me adding this, that this
what?
was a topic that Ty had on her show last night, bro. The chemistry between the trainer or what the trainer telling you. And that's absolutely what you're speaking to right now. You could tell somebody similar advice, but they might not receive it well from you because of the chemistry or the trust or the relationship that they have with you for some odd reason. And that right there speaks to that answer right there. It is definitely the dynamic between the trainer and the fighter has to be a key point of it. Because if not, then when things are going good, sometimes you might do like you need somebody to scale you back when you like having it easy and you're doing stuff that ain't really good for you, but they seem to work for you. You need somebody that's not going to be that yes man and let you do it. And likewise, when it's going bad, you need somebody that's going to protect you in the moment from yourself. And like Breland was that for him. Malik has not been that for him. So absolutely, I agree with you on that, Ringwall.
Yeah, ring walk. And just another point of that, something that we experienced a few weeks ago in the Keyshawn Davis versus Edwin De Los Santos, when Sampson and them, basically told Edwin, I don't think you should fight this guy. He came in overweight. He wasn't very professional. He came in overweight. So we're going to leave this fight on the table. And then Edwin De Los Santos ends up leaving Sampson. And I felt like Sampson had his best interest at heart. You're coming off of a 1.5 year layoff. You've had medical issues, blood clots, etc. What if you start bleeding and can't stop? Things of that nature. So he was worrying to me about his actual well-being as a person, rather than worrying about getting some money in the short term. So I think that's a great point that you made. And yes, chemistry matters. And you need people in your corner that's going to tell you what's best for you. Not always what you want to hear, but what you need to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. And add on to that last point, it really resonates well because they knew this Mickey Freaky walked into the ring the day of, walked into the scales the day of, only 2 points over. 2 pounds over, but yet proceeded to add more weight to that. Like you had no intention on being professional. And on top of that, you did not deplete yourself one bit to make the fight. So why would I allow somebody, as you just stated, that has not been in the ring, has dealt with health issues, and is looking to fight a big fight, walk in there with any disadvantage like that? Yeah, that's fact. That dude is solid. Now that dude right there is solid.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And we can get on to the next fight, man. That happened Friday night. Kristen and Billy versus Majic Selecki. And I got a clip from that too. I want to definitely share so people can get a visual of what went down in next because this fight was nasty.
Let's see here, Morgan. Right to the body, left hook, yes. To the body, right uppercut. And then that uppercut closes it.
Good golly, Miss Molly.
I gotta show
Sheesh.
that again. I gotta show that again.
Let's see here, Morgan. Right to the body, left hook, yes. To the body, right uppercut. And then that uppercut closes it.
I'm telling you, boy, 2 to the body, 1 to the head.
Man, it was beautiful.
Yo.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, that was definitely hot shit.
It was beautiful. I was like, man, Christian, and that was in the first round too. I was surprised he was. I was like, in that fight, I was thinking, and Billy was gonna get him by a decision in that fight, but he did him dirty though, like out the gate on the first round, man. It was crazy, man. What y'all think about Christian and Billy on that one?
I think he set it off with this first round TKOs this goddamn weekend, boy. Nah, definitely. Shout out to Christian and Billy, man. You don't get paid for overtime, so get in and get out. It's an OG classic. Sheesh.
What you think, T?
You don't get paid for overtime, but you can settle disputes over time. And it only was a matter of time that he had to do what he had to do to get it settled. Electrifying. To be honest, the fight before that, another young brother, that fight was filled with KOs. That was a hell of a punch, though, man. It shows you the problem that he can be, man. If he get refinement, he's a problem.
What you think, Bing?
Well, fam, I try to look at all the little small details in each fight, each habit, the things they be doing. And what I saw in Billy, man, was he was actually very responsible defensive wise as well. I was like, well, he's protecting himself very, very good. and he had a nice little jab, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, with some nice sting on it. And he hit him so fast with that hook uppercut combination, it kind of takes you back to like the Mike Tyson, that hook uppercut, one of his favorite combos. You know what I mean? It was so fast, I had to see the replay because the uppercut was so fast. It was nasty, man.
Yeah,
McNasty.
yeah. Christian and Billy, man, he was sharp the other night, man. I definitely enjoyed
Definitely sharp.
that performance, man, for sure. And we can go ahead and get to last night events, man. Starting off with the Avius Griffin fight, man. Let me show the clip of that first, because that was wicked last night. What happened with him?
Rodriguez put head, shoulders, knees, and toes on that ass through the
Man.
whole fight.
Good right hand. There he is. He hurt him again. Rodriguez stunned. He's out. He's down for the first time in his career, and he might not get up. It's over. Julian Rodriguez with a dramatic last round knockout.
Yeah. Bergen County stand up for sure. That's
I
what I'm
gotta show that
talking
again. I
about.
gotta show that one more time because that was crazy. He had Griffin stumbled and crazy.
Good right hand. There he is. He hurt him again. Rodriguez stunned. He's down for the first time in his career, and he might not get up. It's over. Julian Rodriguez with a dramatic last round knockout.
Man, that was crazy right there. And that was one of Bomac guys right there, man. Newly MVP signee Griffin going out bad last night in the 10th round. And that was the last round in that fight when that happened too, man. So what y'all think about Julius Rodriguez getting a upset because Avius was the A side in this fight?
Well, first of all, thank God for the ropes, or his ass would have been on the damn table and then on the floor.
Right.
So shout out to the ring. As far as Rodriguez, it just seemed from the very beginning that he was faster. His movements was better, his punch placements, his combinations were better, and it just seemed like whatever punch he landed kind of seemed to kind of shake Griffith. I don't really know why they've been, pumping him up. And to the point that I think you made last night, Cam, on my panel, just because you hang out with some of the guys that are more established and more elite doesn't really make you that. And I kind of think
Absolutely.
that is going to be his downfall if he does not correct his mistakes, just like it was AB's downfall. You know what I'm saying? Hanging out with Floyd and thinking you are Floyd. AB, I love me some AB, but he is like my greatest boxing disappointment because he had so much potential, and I just don't feel like he maximized it to where he could have. You know what I mean? Because he let certain things start to take over, the glitz, the glamour, the lights. They kind of got to him, and that seems like what seems to be happening with Mr. Griffith here. I think, like you said, he was backstage with them at the fight, the last brothers fight, and he back there all, with his jewels on and he's shining and everything. Boy, go get in the damn gym.
Yeah.
Concern yourself with yourself. You're not on their level yet. They not even really where they need to be yet. But you're not where they are. So you need to be working, you need to be focused and execute every task in front of you. And unfortunately last night he came up short. So shout out to what is it? Julian Rodriguez.
Yep.
Shout out to him. He proved he was a dog, and he definitely told Jake Paul, "I bet you know who I am now." You know what I'm saying? But that's how you got to do things sometimes. I tell people
Yeah.
all the time, it's advantages to being underestimated, baby. A lot of
Absolutely.
advantages. So shout out to him for the win, and shout out to the ring for holding my man's up. Word is bond.
Yeah, man. Look, I would say something about it. Like last night, it was like Griffin was out there. I said this earlier on L Dub on his channel earlier. Salute to my brother L Dub Boxing. I was saying Griffin was out there he fighting like he a pretty boy out there, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like you out here trying to look good out there fighting, man, instead of winning the fight when you got this guy coming up here full speed ahead, coming forward, aggressive, hunting you down, walking you down. And Griffin just, he just couldn't adapt to that. It was just like nasty work to see him go out like that, man. What you thinking, Bean?
Oh man, I was liking the fight. Some back and forth. Give and take. But Rodriguez definitely was doing a little bit more. He was a little bit more sharper and cleaner and accurate. Um, but Griffin had some good moments or whatever. But when it came to that 5 seconds left in the end, I didn't expect to see that he's gonna get knocked almost out the ropes with 5 seconds left. That was, I believe it was 5 seconds, but yeah, that was crazy.
But wait a minute, Ringwalk, did you hear the goddamn score? Somebody gave him a draw. Which judge crooked ass did? I mean, when I tell
Oh
you
wow,
Man, they was
them
trying to rob that
them
boy. They was trying to
envelope them
rob that
envelope
boy.
listen, them brown envelope boys be outside heavy because that was ridiculous.
that is ridiculous, and that's why I mean you got to say how it is. But when you can seal the deal like that, it's best, like they say, don't leave it in the hand of the judges.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, what you thinking, T Hill?
Hey Monty. Hey Monty Brown.
Yeah, salute to my brother Monty Brown TV, man. Everybody, make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel, man. My man doing great content over there on the boxing for sure. You know what I mean? Salute to my brother. And salute to my brother Sauce the Engineer, man, as well. You know what I mean? In the comments, my dog, one of my day one brothers, man, for sure. He said, Monty Brown said two judges had it a draw going into the 10th. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
bro.
I knew I heard. So I didn't know if it was one or two, but I knew for sure I heard the one because we was still on the panel, so I was kind of like back and forth. But I knew for sure I heard one of them. I didn't know it was two. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy right there, man. Good fight from Julius Rodriguez, and let's go ahead and get into the main one right here. That for real, that I really want to talk about. Kid Austin last night, man, versus Tevin Farmer, man. It was nasty work last night. I gotta show the clip. Here go the clip. I gotta show that again, man. That was nasty, man. Man, oh my God. Tevin Farmer, man. What happened? Oh my God. Bean, you
I'm
can
not.
start it off and talk about this first, Bean.
Man, like the old schools would say, gots to be more careful. Man, wow. I didn't see that coming. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I didn't feel like Kid Austin would edge it or win, but a first round dominating performance is like Tevin had and stood no chance at all. And the ref was being gracious because after the second knockdown, I didn't like the look in his eyes. It's like, okay, maybe that should be stopped right then and there. But he gave him the benefit of the doubt, let him get back up, and got swarmed on again. Hey, you got to stop that one. Don't let that man, take any more damage. That was crazy, man.
Yeah, it was nasty work right there. What you
Hey,
thinking,
Cam, can
sis?
You said
What?
me or Thomas. No, Thomas could go. He was
Yeah,
saying
go
something.
ahead, TL. Go ahead, TL. Go ahead, cook up on that.
If you're talking, we can't hear you, Thomas.
you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep, we hear you good
Yeah, I
now.
can hear you.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna give you my take on that one. I'm gonna go back on that fight with Rodriguez. Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
First with Rodriguez, Rodriguez, you see what hunger can do. Like you said, you see the value of being an underdog, but being a big dog inside of that underdog and wanting the world to see it. You see what the opportunity and preparation for that moment gets you when you think that just because you who you are because of the people or the company you keep. And I agreed with Ty when she said that. All of what she said was so. I think that also for Bomac, I was about to say Big Mac. My apologies for Bomac. I really didn't even try to be funny, but I was just about to say Big Mac. But I'm sorry. He in this year has taken a litany of L's and some of epic proportions. That performance and that show that happened in Norfolk was a big L for them. And he's lost 3 other fights, I think, since then. And he's got that other one coming up with Crawford and them. That has to be his redeeming shot. Otherwise, he's gonna let the flame and the fortune and the glitz and the glamour have tainted his image as well too, because of the way that they've been moving, the way they've been acting since that freaking Earl Spence fight. Shout out to that young man for being ready. Shout out to that person to take the L. Hopefully, he'll pick up and rebound and start recognizing that you don't play boxing and you're not good by association. You're good because of the staying dedicated to you, worrying about you, and building yourself up, and putting the requisite work necessary for that. And Kid Austin, man, I didn't see that coming. I didn't think Tevin would be that irresponsible. I didn't think that
Hey,
he would.
hold on, T Hill. Let me show that clip one more time, man. That
Oh
clip
my
was nasty.
God.
I gotta see that again. That was nasty. And we got some new people in here. Hey, salute to Ashley's Corner. Yeah, man, sister, y'all been cooking up over here for a while. Yeah, so yeah, here you go. Let's show this clip right here. Kid Austin, man, terrorizing Tevin Foreman last night again. Ugh. Oh my God, that was nasty work, man. Oh my God. Like that, like Tevin Farmer stood no chance, bro. Like, and it was crazy. I seen Tevin Farmer last night. He was on Najee. He was on Cigar Talk last night, and he was on there, politicking, talking about the fight and everything last night. I'm like, bro, you up here on here for about an hour, like you talk about this. You need to be getting your mind right for this fight, man. And then of course, Tevin Farmer on the first try of making weight, he missed on the first try, point 0.4, and then on the second try, he made weight. And I don't know how much that play into a factor, which I think far as that a little bit, if that played a little bit of factor.
Nah, what played the biggest factor is the fact that he didn't take this fight serious as he needed to. He figured the dude chomped out of one fight. He hadn't looked good in other fights. Giron made him look less than stellar. And, he was in some wars with celebrated fighters, people that they're putting their money behind, that this would be a walk in the park, man. The way that he even went and approached the build up to the fight, man, it was unlike he's ever done before. Like, it was laden with just disrespect. Like, I don't care who you are, you're nobody to me. And I think it led into all of it, but the biggest thing is that he didn't respect the ring. And you gotta respect, like she said, the ring held a ninja into it and up for a little bit, from falling all the way off on the table, getting WWE or WWF, where I'm more familiar with. This ring, it tells the truth. It tells the truth about you. It tells the truth about your opponent, and it tells the truth of what we see. It's just we got to believe what we see in the ring and not what we believe of ourselves or what we think ourselves. And unfortunately, he thought that this dude was not a threat. He thought that he was sus, and he found out that it can be a threat when you don't take the proper precaution and the proper preparation for it. That's what I think. But shout out to Floyd Schofield, because that he put himself in contention for knockout of the year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What you think, sis?
Well, we were live while that happened, getting ready to shut it down, and then I was like, "Oh, no need," because it's over. But but that was extremely unlike Tevin Farmer, in my opinion. Now, I did say this a few weeks back that Tevin Farmer is a gatekeeper, and I said that because of the three losses that he took back to back. But I always felt that Tevin Farmer was a scrapper. You know what I mean? So I thought initially that he would at least put up a good fight, for however long it did last. Now, if I'm being honest, I was not completely high on Kid Austin, because of his last performance, because of the fact that he ducked out of the Shakur fight, because of the fact that he ducked out of fighting Abdullah Mason. I was not high on the young man. I will be honest. I'm still not, if I'm being completely honest. I need to see more. Although, from what I saw last night, I mean, he's on his way. Although, I do want to just put this out there. I don't want to shit on nobody's win, but I did hear that there was no drug testing for last night's card. I just want to put that out there. With that being said, I do still feel like, he did what he was supposed to do to a nigga that's sleeping on you. You know what I'm saying? When they sleeping, when you catch them lacking, listen, this is what happens. And I agree with Thomas. I don't think that Tevin Farmer took this fight as seriously as he should have. I believe they were taking it serious, though, because they have a point to prove after the whole Shakur debacle. They have a point to prove that, he is someone to be taken serious in that ring. And after last night, maybe he will be. So maybe the 135-pound division is now on notice. I did hear his father saying something like he'll knock Tank out. He want to fight Shakur. He want to fight all these guys. So we're going to see what the young man is really made of.
Hey Cam, before you employ a ring walk, man, what she said at the very end of that was absolutely spot on. That man fought like he needed to prove something. He knew that he had to vindicate himself for things that was happening, and he went in there and he put everything into that fight, and he got everything out of that fight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah,
So,
Bing, what you thinking?
well, I mean, it's like that old cliche. That's how the cookie crumbles, But it's like you always gotta step in that ring, and they know, because if we know it on the outside looking in, you stepping in the ring. This ain't a play game. This ain't no play thing. So you supposed to have your mind locked in, training and like war. Like, okay, I'm going all out because this dude trying to do me bad just as much as I'm trying to get it off on him. If you don't have that mindset, then you don't even need to step in the ropes. So this wasn't a play thing. So I don't know what Tev took it for. Now I do get that that Pop Schofield is like Flavor Flav, man. He gonna amp it up. You feel me? he gonna make sure he amp it up, which is good for the in a sense, it can get on your nerves, but it's kind of good to build it up. So now they barking up that tree. Now they talking Tank Davis. Now they talking Shakur. Pretty much anybody can get this smoke. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, hey, if that's the way he want to market it, I guess. I mean, Kid Austin himself, he's more humble. He don't talk a whole lot of trash all like that, but it's mainly his pops. You know what I mean? It takes it to a whole nother level.
I can agree with that 100%.
And then
100% ring walk,
and here go
100%.
a screenshot from Shakur talk about the fight last night. He talking about little dude gonna come out fast and strong. Tev gotta be a little patient and get to that body. Right here.
Well, I mean, he was not wrong at all. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. That's why I said, yo, I don't really know what happened to Tevin Farmer last night. Like, I think to Thomas's point, I really don't think he took it seriously because, Kid Austin seems to gas out at the end of some rounds. You know what I'm saying? At the end of a fight, he doesn't really seem to be as strong after round 5 or 6. So Tevin could have stayed patient and kind of made it a little more competitive. Even if he lost, he could have made it a little more competitive because that was pitiful, y'all. I'm sorry.
Let me piggyback off Miss Queen. So the fact that Kid Austin starts to taper off mid rounds, and he's not as the output ain't gonna be as great because he's not, he don't have the same type of engine in the later rounds that he has in the early rounds. That being said, I think this is a situation to where Shakur should want to grab the bull by the horns and say, you know what, I'm gonna show you how it's done. You got so much to say about what Ted Farmer shouldn't have did. There's any other. You're the superior boxer. Hey, you all that. So that being said, you should make easy work of Floyd Schofield.
Well, I think that's what originally he said he was going to do if they had fought, and then whatever situation had occurred that Kid Austin pulled out of the fight. But now, at the end of that fight, as you heard Oscar say, he wants to make the winner of Zepeda versus Shakur for Kid Austin. So maybe we'll get a chance to see that fight after all.
I
Yeah,
hope so.
absolutely. That's definitely on the menu right now. Because last night that was a WBA Continental title fight last night between Kid Austin and Tevin Farmer. So of course, Kid Austin's more in position for a shot at the title for Tank. And they're saying, of course, Oscar saying that Zepeda, winner, Shakur, that fight possibly on the line for him, which is me personally, it's kind of crazy to see if that kind of go down like that. If Kid Austin gets the winner of that Zepeda Shakur fight, man. So I'm real intrigued by that. But Kid Austin definitely looked sharp last night, did his thing. And now you're gonna have his pops gonna be popping shit all around the YouTube waves. He already was on Mill City and shit before today. You know what I mean? About an hour ago, man. So salute to Kid Austin last night, cooking up last night, man. And of course we had another fight last night with after that it was Zerto Ramirez. He fought last night. He won. He didn't look really crazy good to me last night, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? He looked kind of mid to me last night, but no, now you got the conversation, the whole conversation with Zerto Ramirez with Ja Alpataya right now, as far as that unification in the cruiserweight division. And they had a little back last night. You got right here. Let me show it. Um, Zerto, he says, make sure you get my phone number and call me. Talking to Ja Opatai. And then you got Ja Opatai said, someone give me the bro's number right there. So, and some people were saying that, some people were trying to say Opatai was ducking Zerto, but me, I'm in the belief that Opatai been chasing that Zerto fight because Zerto got those two titles in that cruiserweight division. So I was in the impression more so that Zerto and them ain't been pushing for the fight more so than Opatai, in my opinion. But this is a match that definitely needs to happen in that cruiserweight division, and we need to see what's going on, see who's the best guy in that cruiserweight division. You got these two guys, they got three of the titles, and then the other title is held by Bottle Jack, and he's gonna have a rematch in the last op that he just fought recently. So what y'all thinking about here, right here with Zerto and Opataya, you know what I'm saying? And then, last night, it kind of, let me add a little bit too. Of course, last night, Jake Paul and Zerto, they faced off. Jake Paul, he won his fight versus Chavez, just to add context with that. It ain't nothing much to talk about as far as Jake Paul. He beat Chavez Jr., and we expected that. Chavez Jr. looked at shot and old, and it is what it is. But Jake Paul and Zerto, they faced off last night too, and that might be a possible situation. I don't know. I know the WBA did say. Let me get that screenshot right here. So shout out to Lance Pugmire. He said, told by the WBA president Gilberto Mendoza that if Jake Paul wins tonight, he will be elevated into the WBA rankings, making him eligible for a title shot at the champion Zerto Ramirez. So they're trying to put Jake Paul in position to get him a a title shot. And I mean, Zerto, my thing is him getting up in age, and the way he fought a little bit. I was thinking they might want to end up cashing him out and making them letting them fight a Jake Paul before they fight Ja Opatai. In my opinion, what y'all think about it?
Well, that's exactly what is probably going to happen. And I know I see a lot of people that are high on Jake Paul. I am not. I do not take him seriously as a real boxer. I've said it over and over and over again. If he wants to be taken seriously as a real boxer, fight a active boxer that's fighting right now in his prime. Stop shopping in the senior department of Box Rec. Stop dusting all these old is off. Because if Jake Paul fights a real boxer, he's going to get fried. There are a lot of holes in Jake Paul's defense and in his game just in general. His ass was tired after round, what was that, 5 or something? They putting all ice on him, giving him water. I thought they was trying to resuscitate him over there in the damn corner. So
Right.
his gas tank is absolute traga. You know what I mean? So I'm unimpressed, and get him off my screen.
Yeah, what you thinking, B? What you think about the cruiserweight situation with Zerto and Opataya?
Man, it's one of them situations, man. Uh, they say you're only as good as your last fight, and like you said, Zerto, it was like a mediocre type performance. You know, you did what you had to do, but when you look at Ja's performances, man, you know, from the beginning to the end, and all that he's done as a recent, he's closing that show out, and he's making a statement every time he step in the ring. He's actually making a statement, man. So I don't think that's some smoke that I would want if I was Zerto. I mean, I'm keeping it a buck. But hey, you know, if that's what he want, you know, like they say, come and test. You know what I mean? But uh Ja Patai is nice, man. He real nice. And I've never seen anything in his fiber to where I would think that he's a duck. That he doesn't come off the type that would try to swerve somebody. Ja doesn't.
Absolutely.
I think he wants everybody. You know what I'm saying? I think he wants to prove himself and he wants to fight the best. And as far as Jake Paul, I'm kind of like Miss Jab Queen to say. But I mean, I watch it for the entertainment aspect, and I know that he has like the Serrano and different ones, so he does bring a certain aspect to it. But as far as actually being a fighter, yeah, I'm not. Obviously, I'm not sold. I'll watch it for what it is, just something to do. But I feel like if it's all like that, and piggybacking off with Miss Jab Queen said, if you're gonna fight a real fighter, go ahead and run it back with the guy that beat you, Tommy Fury. And
Absolutely.
he's not even a great boxer. So run it back with Tommy Fury. If you this and that, you know what I mean? So
Right, and I said that as well, man. I was like, man, why he ain't running that fight back with Tommy Fury? Tommy Fury beat him in that fight, and Jake Paul's trying to paint this narrative that Tommy Fury's ducking the fight. I heard him mention that last night, and I mean, Jake Paul, I don't like. I've always said, I've been on record with Jake Paul. You know, I'm not gonna take you serious until you really start fighting guys as in sanctioned bodies and stuff like that. But I do appreciate what he's bringing to the game for the women. And he's an Ohio guy, so I got to show him some love a little bit. But for us, the boxing, I'm not taking him as serious until he gets in the ring with some of the guys that's in the sanctioning body. That like he got to let the fans know that he's serious by taking on tougher competition for us fighting guys that's actually in the sanctioning body rankings and stuff. That's just my opinion for us, Jay Paul. But these guys, these two guys right here, Ja Opataya and Zerto, this is a fight that us boxing fans been calling for several months, and we haven't got it for us that cruiserweight division. And I'm hoping now, that both guys are available. They can try to come to the table and make something happen now, man. I'm really hoping for real. And let's get into the next topic, man. Which is we got news that just dropped before the show, which was beautiful because I love this fight, and I was asking for this fight, and we thought the fight was definitely almost not about to happen, but we have it here. Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney is going down in November in Saudi Arabia. And WBO title strap on the line. Brian Norman just coming off a crazy knockout win against Jen Sasaki recently. And you got Devin Haney. He's coming off a win versus Jose Ramirez, which is he gave a lackluster performance. We already know about that. But the fight is locked in. Turkey announced it. Ring Magazine announced the fight. It's lit. What y'all thinking about the fight, man? Is the fight is on?
Well, I have been following this. We've been on it since the very beginning.
Absolutely.
I too am intrigued with this fight. If this fight actually does manifest, and I know what Turkey says, although we know Turkey says a lot of things that simply aren't true. But if this fight does manifest, then I will definitely give Devin Haney 100% credit for even taking it, because I am one who believes he won't fight a damn name on that list. But I can be proven wrong. Just like last night, I thought that Tevin Farmer would have put up a better fight. I was wrong then. So it really doesn't, it doesn't bother me. I'm excited if this fight does manifest, because it is a good fight for both of these young men's career and a good name on both of their resumes. So yeah, man, glove up and let's get it.
Absolutely. What you thinking, Bean?
Wow. Well, kind of alluding to what Miss Jab Queen said, and reflecting on what you and her talk about a lot. Um, Definitely, it's like I want to see it. I hope that it can get made officially. Um, so that even for it to be kind of in the atmosphere at this level, I'm crossing my fingers that it's gonna happen. It's a great contrast of two different styles. Uh, Now, if it does happen, what weight class is it supposed to be at?
147. Brian Norman, he's defending that WBO strap for this fight.
No, it is
So,
147. Okay,
so
I was just
Devin
making
Haney
sure.
ain't no catch weight on this. He
Right,
at
I'm about to say no catch
147
weight.
now. He got to
Okay,
fight with the big dogs up there. And the
ah,
thing
okay.
about Devin Haney, this is his first fight there. And Brian Norman, he's already filled into the weight. You know what I mean? So that's
Mm-hmm.
a big thing to think about pertaining to this fight for sure. And I mean,
Oh, okay.
one thing I could say as far as this fight, of course, we had the whole situation with Bill Haney and Brian Norman Sr. going back and forth on podcasts throughout this whole week and stuff. And I know if y'all watch my channel, I got videos up talking about this whole situation and everything in depth and everything. But one thing that was key that I noticed that Brian Norman Sr. said the other day was he said that the fight he said that
Hmm.
they don't have that the Haneys don't have no choice but to fight them now, due to the fact that
Bless you.
Bill Haney was talking all that shit, and especially getting personal, talking about Brian Norman Sr.'s mom, because Brian Norman Sr.'s mom has stage 4 breast cancer. And we broke that down and we talked about that in layers too,
Yeah,
where
I remember we talked about
I was
that.
like, yo, my mom passed away from breast cancer, so you going below the belt like that. I'm totally with Brian Norman Sr. on that note. So Brian Norman Sr. said that they didn't talk themselves into this fight, and that's the only fight that they wanted, and they pushing for that fight, and they pushed and got this fight done. The Haneys, I give them credit. They get credit for taking this fight on, because a lot of people thought they was not going to take the fight. And of course, I had a show the other day saying that they never wanted to fight. I don't think they never wanted to fight still. You know what I'm saying? It's just that they talk
If
they
this
way,
gonna
they
happen
talk
and it
they
gets
they
locked
they talk.
in,
Yeah,
it's
like
like this makes up for the fact that he didn't run it back with Ryan Garcia. This will make it up
absolutely.
because this
Absolutely.
is
Not in my
you know
opinion.
styles make fights. So I don't feel like that. I feel like for Haney to want to do that, okay, you know what I mean. Y'all got some balls about yourself right now because Brian Norman, Haney to me will want to fight certain people want to fight certain styles that they feel like they can pick apart a certain person. It
Right.
suits their style. Just like Keyshawn Davis is, I think he's a talent, but I think it's like Frank Martin said about him. They set him up fighting people to make him look good with a certain style of opponents. So you want to see a person fight people that you feel like gonna give them an issue, like Zapata. Now that's a fight you want to see Shakur fight because you want to see somebody you feel like is going to take him to a different dimension.
Right. Right.
And I
I mean,
think
I say
Brian
far as the
Norman would
Ryan shit,
Jr.
like I still want that Ryan fight. I don't
Oh, I
care
still
what
want it. I
what
ain't
they
saying
talk.
wa- I ain't
They
saying
still
watch it
gotta
away.
solve that problem. They
Oh,
still gotta solve that Ryan problem still.
I wasn't
But
saying that. Let this
here's
fight
we
be
may
that. I want them
I'm gonna
both to
say this
happen
though.
still.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna say this though, cuz like with this fight right here, if Brian Norman goes in there and he destroys Devin Haney, as a lot of us, pretty much probably possibly feel about that fight, as far as Brian Norman destroying Devin Haney in this fight, we won't probably see no Ryan. I mean, we won't see no Ryan Garcia Devin Haney rematch probably. Like we probably won't see it. Like, because I don't think Devin Haney's gonna last to get to a Ryan and Garcia fight in this fight with Brian Norman Jr. In my opinion, you know what I mean. But this fight, he gets the credit for taking this fight for sure. But we're not gonna act like they didn't try to get away from the fight because it was exposed that they was trying to get out the fight. And Brian Norman Sr., all of that shit, all of the content that I dropped for us, that all of that shit still stands. You know what I'm saying? It's just the fact that they talked themselves into this fight, and the fight is going down now. And I'm happy that the fight is going down, and we're gonna get a great ass fight in this fight right here. What you got on this, sis?
I'm steady running my mouth and a dead one thing on mute. Lord help me. Um,
You
no,
good?
yeah, I definitely still feel that Ryan fight is a fight that needs to take place because it doesn't matter who else you fought. You have to prove to me that the only reason Ryan beat you is because he was on quote unquote Oscarine.
Right.
I don't want to hear nothing else about that. That fight still needs to happen. It should have been the very next fight after both of y'all came off that long ass layoff, but whatever.
For
Right.
real.
As far as this fight with Brian Norman Jr. and Devin, absolutely. This fight, I mean, it'll be great for both of their careers. Now, I don't know who's gonna win, you know what I mean, but this is a really good fight. Um, as far as what you had mentioned earlier, Cam, yeah, he can't back out now because you were already outed for trying to back out. So you kind of got to stand on it. Now I'm pretty sure this is the last thing that Bill wants for Devin. You know what I'm saying? But he kind of got to stand on it. He got to stand on it because I was popping so much ish because, like you said, all the things. And then don't forget, Brian Norman Sr. said, and we can fight too. I said, Lord have mercy, Granddaddy's going wild on the undercard. This is ridiculous. But here I'm here for it. But yeah, I mean, these two, this is a wonderful matchup. This will be Devin's first fight at an actual 147, not 144, 143. And I know people say anything over 140 is 147. Then take your ass up there and campaign at 147. But this will definitely be a really good matchup. I really don't know who's going to win. I mean, I don't know. I would say Devin has better footwork, if I'm not mistaken. But I just don't know, if he's going to be able to use excessive lateral movement for I mean, the boy gas tank is crazy, so that's definitely for sure. This is going to be a good fight. If it manifests and gets to the actual date, it's going to be a good fight.
Well, I want to respond to Miss Jab Queen because she made a good
Mm-hmm.
point.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, yeah, he definitely needs to run it back with Ryan Garcia because you hooted and hollered about the fact that you were wrong, y'all was cheated, you had to reverse and had to I don't know, was that a no contest or whatever?
Yeah, no contest.
So now you ain't got you got a clean record again. So you need to go in there and prove that, like you said, that it was because of Ostarine, extra additives or whatever you want to call it in your system as to why you took this L. And that's the thing about when these guys start crying about being wrongfully. I'm not saying that sometimes it ain't true, but in some cases it's one of them situations where it's like everything ain't what it seems. Uh like Daniel Dubois, it wasn't a PED situation, but you saying that using them saying it was a low blow or whatever. So now that Dubois and them is calling you a cheat, they have to go in there and prove in this rematch in a few weeks that hey, you gotta beat your man now, because if you lose Dubois, you're gonna look so bad now that you and your trainer Don Charles running around here talking about Usyk is a cheat. He can only win him because he cried that it was a low blow when it wasn't. You got something to prove.
Yeah, I like this guy right here. He said, "What if Devin beat Norman? Is he the A side to Ryan Garcia?" No, he wouldn't be because of the fact they value Ryan more
I'm
than
about to
Devin.
say he's never going to be the A side over Ryan Garcia ever. They see Ryan
Yeah,
as a bigger star. And Ryan is a company man. Y'all have to understand something. Sometimes these fighters, I mean, it's good to be your own boss in certain situations, but since DHP is not exactly tied to any promotional company, they're not financially really invested in him. So they don't really give a damn whether he wins or loses.
absolutely. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I do hope this fight definitely make it to the finish line. I mean, for us, like Devin Haney, this is the thing. Devin Haney is going to have to, really be on his demon time for as being on his defense, but he's going to have to engage in the fight with Brian Norman Jr. Man. So I mean, it makes up for a real interesting fight for real. What will be Devin Haney's game plan to win this fight with Brian Norman Jr.? You know what I mean?
To what you just said, bro, I kind of wanted to just like maybe pose
Go
a
ahead,
question. You said that Devin has to absolutely be on demon time. What I don't know if I've ever seen Devin really on demon time. You know what I'm saying?
man.
He's a really good boxer. Don't get me wrong. I don't see that dog in him. And I know people say, oh, he kept getting up. I mean, what the hell else he gonna do? Just lay there? I mean, he kept getting up because that's just what I mean. Kind of like almost like a reflex. You fall down, you get up. You fall down, you get up. But I don't know if I've ever really seen the dog come out of Devin. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. I mean, this before like this guy right here, Brian Norman. He's bigger. He's stronger.
I
He
don't know
is
if he's
athletic. He
bigger.
got
I
great
don't know if
foot.
he's bigger. I don't know
Like,
if he's bigger. Devin is a big boy,
yeah,
yo.
he a big boy, but he ain't filled out in that 147-pound division yet, though, sis.
I don't know if he stops maybe like draining himself, he might. Because the higher he goes up in the weight, the less he has to cut, right?
Yeah, yeah, but that's the thing. We don't know. We don't know what type of cutting that man be doing. We know that man be walking around big and heavy in weight for sure. But I mean, in that Ramirez fight, I would say he definitely looked a little bit small
He
compared
did
in
kind of
that
look
fight for
small in that
sure.
fight. He
I
did.
mean,
You're
which it
right.
kind of led a lot of fans to believe like, how would Devin body fill out and look at 147? Yeah, he's as the corner said. I think Devin has hand speed and boxing IQ over Brian, but nothing else. That's interesting right there. Yeah, I think that Devin's experience in big fights is going to play a factor in this for sure. I would say.
I like I said, I honestly I don't know who's gonna win, but I'll say this: this will only be Devin's second time going up against somebody his height, his weight, his size, his dimensions. Devin's career was built off of fighting smaller, older men, so it is going to be interesting how he fares at the 147-pound division. Those guys up there, they punching, bro. They just your height, if like you said, bigger. You know what I mean? And you can have ring IQ. What if they can cut the ring off? You know what I'm saying? You can use your lateral movement. You have good foot movement, but all of that, paired with somebody else that may have just as good, if not superior, and they punching. What are you going to do? Devin is in between a rock and a hard place, and I am curious to see how Bill is going to maneuver his career moving forward.
Right. And I'm just looking at the performances, like with Brian Norman, his last two performances, no, last three. You know what I'm saying? He's got better each performance. And you look at Devin's last two performances, it hasn't looked good. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's believing that Devin's gonna be a true underdog in this fight.
Well, here my 2 cents, man. And y'all both say some great stuff, man. I'll be sitting back like, whoa, y'all be expanding my mind. Um, so what Miss Jab Queen was saying about Devin showing that he had the dog in him, and I always looked at it like this, and I don't want to feel like I'm going all, I don't want to feel like I'm going all over the place. So hopefully y'all understand what I'm trying to say. But it's like I don't know how to call the fight, but I'm just saying, just like to put it in a different scenarios. Say it's a situation to where Devin it does come up short or whatever. It ain't how you lose. I mean, it ain't that you lose all the time. It's how you lose. So,
Absolutely.
or either spectrum, whether it be on Norman's behalf or Haynes. But I'm saying that to say, like, let's go back in time. when I was, I grew up in the '90s area of boxing, so it's like even though Holyfield lost against Riddick Bowe, he had so much respect in that loss, man. It was almost like a victory because people like, oh, Holyfield got the heart of a lion though. He got hit with that uppercut, and just when you thought he was gonna get knocked to the canvas, somehow he musters up the energy. He fights back, kind of like even Adrian Broner. Even though we could say different things about him or whatever, but when he fought Maidana, even though he lost, there was a lot of parts of that fight that he got back up and was digging in a little bit. You know what I mean? So I want to know if Haney got that. You know what I mean? Like if he do get knocked down, is he gonna get back up and is it gonna wire him up? You know what I mean? I just wonder, man.
Yeah. Let's respond to my boy Devontae F. He said, if Devin wins, would y'all apologize to Bill? What would he need an apology for? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't got no reason to apologize to Bill. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They get their congratulations and, they keep it pushing from there. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's if they win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I do give Devin credit for them taking this fight because it looked for real this past week that they wasn't gonna take this fight for real. It really looked like
Um,
that. But they, like I said, they forced their hand to make this fight happen, man. Because Bill was popping his shit, talking about he looking for the Normans and all of this shit, and then B Norm Senior, of course, he always on the the YouTube airways for sure, and he right there popping his shit back and forth with him throughout the last several days, and that man. It's still the fact that man, Bill Haney, he was on that phone call with Tay Jones saying that didn't want to fight Brian Norman. They said that fighting Brian Norman Jr. would fuck up their brand, and that they was trying to fight Shakur Stevenson, which I don't even know why because Shakur's at 135. So like, you know what I mean? So it was just nasty work, and to see that was still in play. But Brian Norman, like he said, Brian Norman said that for sure they talked their way into this fight and they gonna have to fight, and now we have the fight now. Yeah, my boy BJ Jason said Norman got that Georgia strength. Yeah, man, he got that real down south strength, man, for real, man. That shit different. It's different for sure. It's definitely different. So okay, so we can go ahead and get into speaking of Ryan Garcia, man. Cause Ryan Garcia, he was on Twitter going crazy just now, man, on the boy Oscar De La Hoya. So you got Ryan Garcia right here. He says, fuck Golden Boy Promotions. I know why Oscar is a bitch in people's eyes, and that's facts. I can't wait till I'm away from that fake bitch. I'ma turn up and win just like I did against all his bitch ass fighters. And then Oscar responds to him. And he says, unfortunately, Ryan Garcia is having another episode. 10 days ago, he's talking about God and finding his path. And then tonight, he sends me this rant while watching his fellow Golden Boy fighters win. Bipolar disorder is a very serious and is very serious. And I hope he gets the help that he needs. And in the screenshot that he posted, it was Ryan Garcia saying, first of all, fuck you, especially you the one disrespectful me with that shitty contract because I lost. But I'm your actual only current star uh, fighter. You can suck a dick, and I know you already do. So fuck you. You can kiss my ass. I'll be Rolly's ass and whoever. I can't wait till I go against you again, like I did with Duarte and Duno, to see your stupid ass face again, looking stupid as fuck. And that stupid offer, bitch, I'll slap the fuck out of you. so, so what y'all think about Ryan Garcia and Oscar De La Hoya back beefing again, man? Back again, man.
um, First of all, I just want to say that That's extremely nasty work by Oscar De La Hoya to post this. This was a personal message between you and one of your fighters. I'm not really sure why he did that. A little messy, if you ask me. But Oscar's always been that way. And I did also address this. The fact that Ryan is probably one of very few boxers who knows that y'all work for me, not the other way around, probably doesn't sit well with Oscar. Because if y'all remember, he also had to get a lawyer to go to court so he could fight Tank.
Right, right.
So he's destined to prove, nigga, you work for me, I don't work for you. So and then Ryan, he always be on some crash out shit if we being honest. But
Right.
the most interesting part of this text was I didn't know Canelo and Berlanga slapped him.
Yeah, I ain't know that either. I
That
ain't know
was
that either.
extremely interesting to me, honey. When I saw that, my mouth dropped open. Mm.
For real.
But I
For
see
real.
a definitely this doesn't it's not going to end well for the two of them. Ryan is erratic and he is his head is big. He has a big head. For whatever reason, Ryan thinks he's like this superior boxer, albeit he has speed and a nice left hook. But outside of that, Ryan doesn't really bring much to the table. But he is, he has a big fan base. He's an attractive young man, so that also brings a lot of female fans. And then Spanish people they tend to rally around each other anyway. So, this is not going to end well for the two of them. I see another court case in Ryan's future and Oscar's too, dealing with the two of them. Who knows? And then after that, they'll probably go somewhere and have dinner together or something. Him and his illegitimate son, so who knows?
Right, right. What you think about it, Bean?
Well, this is one of those times where I really don't have a whole lot of a comment on, but I just feel like whatever demons that Garcia been going through, hopefully whatever he's going through, it all starts to work itself out. He gets the professional help. If he got a therapist or whatever, if he has to take certain meds or whatever, hopefully he'll take care of himself if that's the issue, that he's going through or whatnot. Uh, I just hope that we see him again in the ring and he stay active. The main thing is I don't want him to be inactive for a long period of time because that's not good for any boxer to get ring rust, to just be sitting on the sidelines when everybody else is out here doing their thing. So hopefully he can dust himself off after that Rolly loss and get in there because really I think being active too probably helps a person's state of mind in most cases.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that like hey, my boy Amber Queen said them guys are soulmates, perfectly aligned. He said, in craziness.
Nah,
And then
craziness for sure, and
the
that is
Ashley
100%
Quarters, she
fact.
said Ryan be acting like a radical teen though. He definitely do. Like
Ashley funny as hell.
this was out of left field last night. Like this was so out of left field last night. I'm just scrolling through Twitter, and I'm seeing Ryan on Twitter talking about fuck Golden Boy. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what is like, bro? What's going on, bro? Like,
Look, Cam, what the hell?
like what the hell? What the hell he on? Like, what the hell is going on with this man? Like, they be beefing like my man, like no evidence said. He said they at war every couple months. They are,
Word,
bro.
no
They
evidence.
really
Word.
is.
That's what I
They
said. It's
really is.
another saga for the two of them, yo. They back and forth all the time with this nonsense.
It kind of remind me, and I thought about this. It kind of remind me a little bit of like how Tank and Floyd was in a sense. To where like you know what I'm saying, like we used to believe Tank and Floyd used to be doing that shit just to promote the fight and shit, but now we know they really don't fuck with each other, and we know Tank got his his reasons of why and everything. But they kind of relationship kind of remind me of that a little bit, similar.
Nah, yeah, it definitely do. The thing that I'll say is this, right? Like I said, Ryan, he does what he wants, and I don't think Oscar likes that much. He likes to kind of be in control of his fighters because a lot of the fighters they do need him, but Ryan can go anywhere and be a star. You know what I'm saying? He just has that it factor. That's just what it is. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Some guys are blessed with it and some guys just aren't. And Ryan was blessed with it.
Facts. And I remember Ryan was on he was on Ring Champs on a little bit before he fought Rolly, and he mentioned that he had like two more fights on the deal. So I think like that Rolly fight was one of them, and I believe he has one more fight on the deal. So I'm really interested in that factor of how true is it far as Ryan only having one more fight on his Golden Boy deal, because he's been complaining about this deal with Golden Boy for a long time and been wanting to get out of that deal probably since he fought Tank. You know what I mean? So I'm real curious on that for sure.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yep. So we can go into the next topic, man. Right here, this is a big announcement too that just dropped today too before the show. The rematch. Conor Ben versus Chris Eubank Jr. The rematch is locked in September 20th in London. So they're back at it again, man. And the question I have with this rematch is, what weight is this going to be at? Because we've seen that man, Chris Eubank Jr., kill himself to make 160 in that last fight just to defend his title versus Conor Ben in that first fight, man. So what weight class, I mean, is this fight going to be on? That's my question to the panel, man.
Well, you know what? That is a good question, and you're right. I felt so bad for him sitting up there rolled up like a goddamn pig in a blanket, trying to lose that extra couple of weight.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
seen
so
that video of that. I was like, man, he killing himself bad to make this
it's
160.
it's yes, it's
Yeah,
definitely
extreme.
something. So I don't know, but that is a very interesting question. I know that Conor Ben doesn't he campaign at 147?
Yes, he's campaigning at 147 right now, sis.
That's what I'm saying, yo. If I don't know, but Eddie Hearn needs to go ahead and bring him on out of the Eddie Hearn protection program, because he should have
Man,
been up there mixing it up with the guys at 147.
Exactly. It's a lot going on at 147, like you said. And he could definitely get in where he fit in.
I can agree with
yeah,
that, BJ Jason. Boxing is definitely lit for the rest of the year.
absolutely, absolutely. And McQueen, was good with you, brother, man? What you think about this rematch fight right here with Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Ben?
Cam, put
That's
the pic
tricky.
down. They can't see us. They don't know who you got on the panel.
Okay, okay.
I ain't know Ant was up here.
Yep,
Hi,
he just came
Ant.
out.
Todd Drake for president.
Always.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm talking about. And don't try and rig my election either. Know what I mean?
Hold on, let me swap that because I'm in the damn car. I keep switching to the Bluetooth in the car. I hate when that happens.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
so yeah,
yeah, BJ Jason, man. Boxing definitely lit, man. It's lit right now. It's getting hot. It's
Conor
getting
Ben
hot.
has been at 154. He's been at 154 the past couple fights. Peter Dobson
Oh,
and the other
has
dude
he?
before that. Yeah, those were at 154.
Okay.
So if I'm Eddie Hearn and company, I'm thinking, do we even want to drop this guy back down to 147?
Right.
Because that's risky as hell. Because you've been fighting at 154. He fought think he might have fought Chris Van Herden at 154 too. No, that might have been his last fight at 147. I know the last two fights though, prior to the Eubank fight, were at 154. So I think that also contributed to the lack of power. I know there was a lot of speculation. He's not on the eggs no more. He ain't eating the omelets, the eggs Benedict. So now the power's looking shaky. But he had also moved up in weight too. So he up there with sturdier guys that can take the punch. The
Oh,
rematch,
okay.
hey, if Chris Eubank could do it safely, because he looked like he was on the brink last time, like he was ready to meet him. In the
Right.
words of DMX, I ain't like the way he was looking. And you seen the British board, they had suspended him because you're not allowed to take those type of measures to cut weight out there. They're real strict on that. So if they could do it, maybe at a catch weight, something like that, where he's a little bit more comfortable, and the money is right, I'm pretty sure people will tune in out there. It'll be a big fight domestically, and whatever it does internationally, I don't even think that should be the focus. I think they should be gauging the interest of the people out there. If they want to see it again, it's a big event. Why not get that money?
Right. Right. I'm just curious of the weight though, and I'm just like, we seen how that happened with Eubank killing himself to make that weight. What weight classes they gonna fight on this fight? This is crazy, bro.
It would have to be somewhere at least around 160. I don't see them being able to do anything less than that, because at 160 the man was skin and bones. So they're
You
not going to
think
be
they
able to
do a
do anything
catch
less than
weight?
that.
You think they do a catch weight a little bit above 160, like in between 168?
Yeah, they could do that to make things more comfortable for Eubank.
Yeah,
Because hell, Conor Ben, he don't got to get up that high.
absolutely.
He don't got
Absolutely.
to get up that high. He can come in at the same thing he came in before, and just let Eubank, give him a little bit more wiggle room, especially since he won the fight, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, because I wouldn't imagine they fight right at 160 again, man. How that went last time, man. And
Nah,
I'm
yeah.
kind of being, if he moving up, I mean, I'm with the fight. I mean, one thing I'm gonna say about this fight in particular, that first fight was one of the best fights of the year, man, for real. That was an amazing fight. The atmosphere, the build up that they had for that fight, like that was one of the best fights of this year for sure. And actually, I mean, speaking of it, so of course, I see the main topic of the show is, we doing the 2025 first half of the year review, and we just gonna review some of the most significant fights of this year that happened. And starting off, we're gonna start off with the fight that we just talked about just now with Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Ben. Was it that? Hold on. Was that it? I think I lost. Was it this one? I lost track. There you go. Oh shit. I lost track of where I'm at.
They wanna bury me, I'm worried. I'm losing my mind. Look down the barrel of my nine and my vision's blurry. Falling to pieces, am I guilty? I pray to the Lord, but he ignores me. Unfortunately, because I'm guilty. Show me a miracle, I'm hopeless. I'm choking off marijuana smoke. With every token, it's like I'm losing focus. Falling asleep while I'm in service. When will I die? Forever paranoid and nervous because I'm high. Don't mention funerals, I'm stressing and going nutty. And reminisce about the niggas that murdered my buddy. I wonder when will I be happy? Ain't nothing funny. Flashbacks of busting caps, anything for money. Where am I going? I discovered. Can't nothing save her. My next door neighbors having convo with undercovers. Put a surprise in the mailbox. Hope she get it. Happy birthday, B. You know you should have did it. Everybody's dying in my next. Who can I trust? Will they be cheese and then look at me before they bust? Or will they kill me while I'm sleeping? Shoot to the head while I'm in bed, leaking blood on my satin bed. Is there heaven for a baller? Getting suspicious of the pistol, I'm busy.
That song was bumping. Ah man, yeah, they was definitely getting to it in that fight. That was definitely a good fight. I know a lot of people at the time they weren't interested in that fight, but when I did like the backstory, I was like, okay, because the Eubanks and the Bens, their fathers actually
Yeah,
got in there for it. So I was like, oh, okay, this is like some like family rivalry for the UK type of thing. So yeah, that definitely was a really good fight for sure.
definitely, definitely. One of my favorite fights. I was just in awe watching that fight, just them going back and forth, and then I just love the whole situation of. At first, we didn't think that Chris Eubank Jr. that that senior was going to be there because the senior didn't approve of Junior,
Mm-hmm.
slapping Connor Ben with the egg and everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
Senior showing up to the fight, and then that ring walk that both of them did, Junior and Senior did, man. It was one of the best ring walks I've seen, ever, man. And like it was amazing. It was amazing. I'm looking forward to this rematch. Now, my man, no evidence. He said this one will be lackluster. Do y'all think this rematch is gonna be lackluster?
If we're being honest, I don't think there's a need for a rematch.
Yeah.
I'm with her. I'm with Miss Jab. I don't think it's really a need for it, and the way they just let it all go right then and there, I think it was like she was saying about the fact that their parents, their dads had fought back in the day, so it was a lot of personal, a lot of stuff built up. They got it off their chest. So to me, the rematch ain't gonna be as personal. It's like I felt like we saw all that in the first fight. That they can't really they can't really overcompensate or do better than what they laid out in the first one, in my opinion.
Right. Right. What you think, Ant?
I think it just remains to be seen. I think it just remains to be seen. We got to see it. You had some guys like Taro Gotti versus Mickey Ward. Those guys weren't necessarily mortal enemies. As a matter of fact, they became good friends. Like after the first fight, them guys were in the same hospital together or something like that. And then they did it three times, and each time it was just spectacular based on the clash of styles. And one thing about Conor Ben, he's aggressive as hell. Chris Eubank is a little bit more measured, but he's willing to give it up. He's no cupcake. So there's a good chance that the fight could be just as good as the first one. Will it have that same intensity? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not, or maybe Conor Ben, he got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because it was a close fight. Neither guy got washed. Neither guy was like thoroughly outclassed. So I think in order to kind of rectify, if you're Chris Eubank, not Chris Eubank, if you're Conor Ben, you might have to go out there and just go balls to the wall, man, and make this guy have to adjust to you. And I think that in itself will lend to it being a good fight. Possible. I don't know. It could be a dud, or it could be Terminator 2.
Right.
Um, I don't know, and sometimes nothing is good as the original. I think the emotions that were running high in that first fight. I think that they were out there trying to avenge his dad's loss, because if I'm not mistaken, his father lost too to the
Yeah.
Eubank. So I
He
just
got
feel
knocked
like
out.
yeah, I just feel like I don't know. I don't think you can really duplicate the first one. The first one to me seems passionate. It seemed personal, and the only one that would really have a reason to do a rematch, obviously, would be Conor Ben. But to me, in that fight, it was clear who the winner was. So I really don't know why. I mean, if they're gonna do it again, I'm gonna watch it again. Don't get my words mistaken. I will watch it if they fight again. But to me, I just don't think that the second one will be as fulfilling.
Right. What you thinking, Bean?
Well, I mean, kind of back to what Miss Jab Queen said, I feel the same way. Kind of like I had said before, like pretty much I feel like the passion was there. It's like they was in there because of the history of what they dads put out there. They stepping in, they high on emotions. It was personal. He slapped him with the egg, you know what I mean? So of course he thinking like I'm gonna get this man back for disrespecting me with that egg or whatever. So it was all that mounted up, you know what I'm saying? It all came in the ring and they let it out. I don't feel like the second one's gonna live up to the same. I mean, it could still be a good fight. I just don't think it's gonna be at that level, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
Let me ask
Okay.
y'all this question though: what happens in the event that both guys understanding what they have in front of them? What if they come in just a tad bit better and
Right.
just a little bit more prepared because now they have familiarity with one another?
Right. I think
Well, it
I think it's gonna be I mean I don't for some reason I think the fight is gonna be even better because the way that first fight they left it all in the ring, and I do understand people saying with far as the weight and saying far as the fight in general that some people feel that they should go ahead and just move on and go to other fights. But I mean, for them to bring that fight back, it was an interesting close fight. It wasn't no controversial ending to me, in my opinion. But I mean, far as the value of the fight, far as both of them guys, both of them left it in the ring, and I believe they'll do the same. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the style is going to change from either guy, as far as them fighting for real. Some minor adjustments, from both for sure, but I think it's going to be another banger.
Well, here's my thing. Ant brings up a good point, but I feel like this, like you're looking at the fact that Eubanks won it. He won the fight, even with the fact that he was killing himself, looked like he was killing himself to make that weight. You know what I'm saying? So now, if he can fight at a weight that's more comfortable and healthier for him, I see him even turn up even a little bit more because he was fighting in there under that, under circumstances like that.
Right, absolutely, absolutely, man. I just it's posted up. It's gonna be a great fight, man. The fight is September 20th in London, and I can't wait to see what they do with the build up in this fight for sure. I know Senior. I think he has a podcast. He has a YouTube channel, so he's dropping content and everything. So people will be able to check him out and hear him talk about the fight. I'm pretty sure on his channel and stuff leading up. And I think the build up is going to be beautiful again, man. So I'm definitely intrigued with this fight. And we can go on to the next fight that I have. That was one of the most significant fights of this year. Um, and the fight that we have a rematch as well coming up for this fight as well, right here. And I'm gonna play the clip of it. Yeah, and there you got it, man. One of the best fights of this year so far as well. Tank Davis versus Lamont Rose Jr. And we all know that they got the rematch going on. It hasn't been announced officially, but I did hear about Lamont Roach mentioning on Twitch that the date is August 16th. They just waiting to announce the fight, so the fight is locked. So one of the best fights of this year, man. Of course, a lot of people have been talking about this fight, and it got a rematch coming up for this fight, man. So what y'all think about Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr.?
Want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead, cuz.
All right. Well, uh, speaking of the Eubank one, like I said, even though I said I felt like the second one wouldn't be like the original, I feel like this fight, the second fight, is going to outdo the first one, all because of everything that happened afterwards. You know what I mean? That Lamont Roach is everywhere, going around social media, different platforms, different interviews, saying that he was slighted, saying that Tank took a knee and that should have edged him to win. So you had all this controversy or whatever, and then the fact that it ends in a draw. And Tank ain't never been in that predicament before. He ain't never had a draw. So that to me is going to do something to him, to his soul, and to his mind. It's going to be like whatever at all costs. I could play no games this time. Like I got to come in here on a whole different trajectory and a whole different mindset. Like I'm trying to do this man bad in this time. Like I ain't trying to I ain't trying to go to the last round and go to a decision. You know what I mean? I'm trying to see that man on his back, looking up.
Facts, facts, facts. What you think, Ant?
Enough to know that okay, this guy is gonna be some real pressure this time. He quit whatever he did potentially in the night.
Is it just me or is it staticky?
Yeah, you little
Yeah, it's
staticky,
staticky,
man.
bro. You might have to adjust it or something.
Yeah, he's a little static. I think probably signal where he at. What you think, sis?
Well, first of all, I would like to address the fact that I hate fine on fine crime. That's just terrible to me. But yes, this is a fight that, according to half of the boxing fans, no one wanted, but yet it is up for candidate of fight of the year. This rematch is a rematch that I find is necessary so that once and for all we can determine who is the winner. In that clip that you played, it does already. Somebody needs to mute. It's a lot of background sound. In the clip that you played, there was some really good back and forth. Although it does seem that Tank is the quicker boxer. So I mean, we have to see the fight again to determine a winner once and for all. Um, yeah, I can't wait to see that again. I can't wait till April 16th. So hopefully we can get this put to bed and see what's really good.
Yeah, absolutely, sis. Yeah, definitely. I'm ready for August 16th, man, and definitely gonna be a big one. And I know a lot of people are still talking about Tank and tomorrow he ain't, bro. The fight is on, it's going down. Just waiting for the announcement and everything. They trying to make sure everything good with Pacquiao and Barrios as far as their sales and everything, as far as their fight. And the fight is gonna be announced soon. They building this undercard. The undercard is gonna be fire. So we'll be ready for it, man. August 16th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, man. So we can go into the next fight that was very significant for this year, starting off in 2025. And this was a this was definitely a big fight as far as the 175-pound division per se, for sure. Let me get this clip real quick. Shit. Right there, man. You have it right there. Arthur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol. This rematch. And that was a beautiful fight, man, for sure, man. And what y'all think about this fight being one of the best fights of the first half of this year, right here?
Yeah, that was definitely a competitive fight. I just wish they would really stop doing my homie David Benavidez the way they doing him. But yeah,
Man.
when do we have a schedule for that particular fight yet? Or
I'm hearing they haven't put out the actual date, but I'm hearing fourth quarter for that fight this year,
okay,
right
okay,
now. So
okay.
hopefully they definitely that fight got to go down because you already know I will be talking about it if they don't fight because
Yeah.
of David Benavidez. I will
Right.
be talking about it for sure. Salute to my brother Dr. Mark. Salute to you, brother.
Oh, hey,
Salute.
Dr. Mark. Happy Sunday.
Salute. Salute. Yeah, Bean, what you think, Bean?
Oh man, I feel like I mean, don't get me wrong. Trilogy is cool. I'm gonna definitely watch it, but yeah, I'm starting. Only thing about these back to back trilogy, man, sometimes it can take so much time. I don't mind a trilogy, but I like them kind of like with a little gap in between sometimes, because all trilogies don't have to be back to back. Shoot, when Tyson Fury fought Wilder, Tyson Fury fought Otto Wallen and Tom Schwartz before he had the rematch. You know what I'm saying? And got with Malik. I think it was Malik Scott or somebody that made him fight more aggressive. I mean, not Malik Scott, but Ben Davison, and then got with uh Emmanuel Stewart's nephew. So I'm saying that to say is that every fight that's a trilogy don't have to be back to back. I would love to see David Benavidez get a shot because he's been sitting there and he deserves it. You know, he got done dirty with the Canelo situation
Mm-hmm.
to this day. To this day, you know, and then it's like you got Canelo where he wants to now fight Bud because he feels like he's going to have an edge, that he's going to feel like he has more power. And that's the way he's been fighting that for so long, you know. But he wouldn't have had that same energy if it was David Benavidez. But that's a whole nother story. But yeah.
Yeah, man, definitely. Salute to my brother William Old School, man. Angry White Man Boxing Podcast. Everybody, make sure y'all go subscribe to them over there. My guys be doing great work over there every day, man. Um, yeah, man. This Baturbiev Bivol, this rematch was definitely a great fight. I felt Bivol won this fight clear in this fight, in my opinion. I want to say clear. I felt like he won by 2 or 3 rounds in this fight. But Beterbiev fought a good fight. And I thought Beterbiev won the first fight. Now, you got a lot of Beterbiev fans that believe Beterbiev won the second fight as well, which, it makes into this controversy of them having a rematch. Of course, them being 1-1. Of course, me being a fair guy, you got to fight where you got 2 fights and both fighters are 1-1. It's like we got to see that third fight. We got to see it. You know what I mean? We got to see who was the better guy out of those out of those 2 guys. And they're gonna square it away in this trilogy, man. And I'm excited for it, man. A little bit. Me personally, I am with the Bivol fan because the Bivol fans, they the ones that wanted Bivol to fight David Benavidez because they believe Bivol won the first 2 fights. You know what I mean? So a lot of the Bivol fans were out there saying that they wanted, Bivol to fight David Benavidez instead of fight Beterbiev in the third fight. But Turkey Al Sheikh, he's eager for them to have this trilogy and he's making it happen. And it should be going down in the fourth quarter from what I'm hearing right now. So salute to both of those guys. And we can get to this other fight right here that was very significant for this 2025 first half of the year. And one of my favorite fighters, too, by the way.
He can't compete with the foot speed of Ennis. And look, those body shots right there. That's Stanionis' kryptonite, I believe. Yeah, he's shrinking, and now Boots teeing off with a left uppercut, and down goes Stanionis. He softened him up to the body and came up with the uppercut. Boots knows exactly what he's doing. He's breaking down Stanionis. The face tells the tale. Blood everywhere, and the body's not doing much better. He's not doing much better. Can Boots seal the deal here in round 6? 10 seconds to go. Stanionis still in there slinging his guns. and he'll make it to the end of the round. Richardson, Hitchens, Shakur Stevenson in the front row, appreciating what Boots is doing here tonight.
I don't need this. I don't need this. Understand? I know you want to fight. Okay? I'll stop the fight. You understand? I'll stop.
And they're going to wave it off. They have waved it off. Stanionis' corner has seen enough as Jerron Boots Ennis gets his crowning moment, the defining win of his career, and he's done it right here in Atlantic City.
No mas for the Lithuanian, and man, that was a beatdown, a professional championship-style beatdown by Boots Ennis, man. That was surgical, accurate, man. This is great.
Yeah, man. Boots Ennis, man, versus Stanionis, man. That man, Boots Ennis, captured the WBA title along with that Ring Magazine strap as well. And retained his IBF title at 147, became the 147-pound king on that night, man. Surgical for sure in that fight. What y'all think about Boots Ennis in that fight with Stanionis?
I thought it was very impressive. And I understand, people wanted him to fight someone else, but he has to fight the people that want to fight him back. You know what I mean? So I thought that
Absolutely.
was a very impressive win for Boots Ennis, and I cannot wait to see what he does at 154. He just Stanionis just couldn't, can you stand the rain? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He just couldn't withstand the heat that was coming out that kitchen. So my God, Boots, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Man. What you think, Bean?
We can't hear you if you're talking, babe.
Oh, okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, that performance was a stellar performance. I love that. I love to see when a person is a full package defensively, offensively, maneuverability, all that kind of stuff. And when they go in there and make a statement with all the intangibles they have, nothing worse than a person who got so many skills and people put on a certain level, but they only like look so good in the fight. And you're like, come on, man, step it up. You know what I mean? Like you
Right.
know what's in you. But Boots, he never fails so far. And I feel like at 154, it's gonna be some depth there, but that'll be good for him. A learning experience to see how truly what level he's at. And speaking of 154, like your boy Ant was saying, Connor Ben's at 154 naturally, so they may cross paths at some point. So it's a lot of smoke at 154.
Well, I doubt it because Connor Ben is in the Eddie Hearn protection program, so I'm not sure that will manifest at all.
Well, I was just wishful thinking.
Yeah, man. I think with Boots, man, I'm glad that he definitely moved up to 154 finally. I've been the guy that's been on record saying I believe Boots needs to move up to 154. No, go fight those guys at 154. I believe 154 is the best division right now with the most depth and solid fighters in that division. And Boots fits right in with those guys, man. There's a lot of big, money fights up there for him. And I'm definitely intrigued and ready to see Boots conquer, at 154, man, for sure. It's definitely there, for him, to go up there and, take some straps up there and handle some business, man. And Boots is definitely one of my favorite fighters. I love watching Boots, man. Every time he put on performance. And one thing I did notice with Boots, he mentioned Boots mentioned in the interview a little bit when he announced that he was going to 154, he said that he was 30-40% in his last couple fights at 147. And he felt like he'll be 100%, moving up to 154. So that was real interesting when he mentioned that for sure in that interview. And Ant, what you think, Ant? You there, Ant?
We can't hear you, babe.
You there, Ant?
Yeah, I don't know if he got his connection fixed. We still can't hear you, Aunt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
check your Wi-Fi.
yeah, no evidence. He said Boots versus Lubin is a good fight. Yeah, that'd be a good
Yeah,
scrap for sure. Lubin, I know he's the number one contender for the IBF at 154, but I'm hearing that Bakram has another fight in place where
I was
he's
just
going to
about to
possibly
say.
fighting on that the undercard for Canelo versus Bud.
Yeah.
So Lubin kind of playing the waiting game on that situation for as Bakram right now, and I know Boots. A lot of people was looking at Boots for as the WBA going up there to try to fight for the WBA at 154. The interim champion is Eunice Telez, but Eunice Telez they gave him another fight recently, so that ruled him out on that situation. So interesting, even though Turkey is putting this whole assumption out there that he's trying to get Boots versus Virgil for November, but Virgil's coming off an injury and stuff, and so I don't know how that's going to work out for us. That even though that fight need to happen because both camps been going back and forth for us that fight for a long time, and I feel like that fight definitely needs to go down, eventually for sure. My man William Old School said, "I'll be honest, I wanted Boots to become undisputed at 47 before moving up." Yeah, I mean the thing was, William Old School. The thing was, we all in assumption that those guys, Barrios and Norman, they wasn't trying to fight him, and what's the point of kind of waiting? Trying to wait for those guys to see what they want to do and everything, and have another possible Earl Spence junior situation where drain yourself out of the class, man. So I'm good with him going to 154 right now, personally, for sure.
Hey Cam.
Yeah,
Hey, I hate to have to cut out, brother, but I'm gonna
go
have
ahead,
to
go ahead,
run a
go ahead.
couple
I know you got some
errands
business to
and
handle. Go ahead and do your thing,
yeah.
cuz.
Okay,
Go
I
ahead, bro.
appreciate you having
Appreciate
me
you.
on. As always, Cam J, I appreciate you having me on. And shout outs
Always.
again to Miss Jab Queen. Y'all have a
Oh,
blessed
good
or
to
safe
meet
day.
you. You too.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
bro. And everybody, make sure y'all subscribe to Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. He'll be live tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And, I'll be over there cooking up with Cuzzo for a little bit for sure. So make sure y'all sub up to his channel and tune in to his show tonight, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for sure on Ring Walk Boxing Podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, for sure. So peace and blessings, and I'll see you in a little
Wait,
bit.
what time? What time?
6 o'clock. It's the
6
same
p.m.
time that Two Cents go live, sis.
Oh, okay, six
Same
six p.m.,
time.
7 p.m. I might stop by to see what's going on over there.
Yeah.
Okay, 6 p.m.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Drop your link in the chat. I don't think I have it. I don't think I'm subscribed to
Yeah,
you.
drop your link in the chat, Cuzzo.
Okay. Let me grab it real
Thank
quick.
you.
For sure. Yeah. So, Ant, you good now? Ant, is Ant good? Or he off? Oh, okay. And I guess he tried to come back. He tried to switch into another joint. But yeah, William Old School says the biggest fight for Boots at 154 is Jamel Charlo. Bud is going to retire after Canelo so he can avoid Boots. And yeah, I said what I said.
William always starting trouble.
I'm with you on where your old
Yeah,
school.
you. I'm
Jamel
riding with William.
Charlo,
What he
I'm
said.
I'm really interested in Jamel Charlo's situation a little bit at 154 a little bit because he had the last fight with Canelo at 168, so it was kind of I almost had a thought that he probably would have wanted to go down at least be at 160 at least, but he is champion in recess for that WBA. So, but I don't think Boots would be a fight that PBC would put him in the ring with coming back out the gate. You know what I mean? Just me personally. What you think, sis?
Yeah, so I always get kind of confused. Jamel is the one that is not back yet, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, definitely the biggest fight for him at 154. Although I don't think it should be immediately when he comes back. If he comes back, he should definitely take a tune-up or two. Um, Obviously, we know that Bud does not want to fight Boots. He had the opportunity at 147 and he declined it. If I'm not mistaken, he dropped those belts. That's how he got them, right? That's how
yeah.
Boots got them right. So I don't believe that he's interested in fighting Boots at all anyway. So there's that. But yes,
No
and I can't
evidence? You
wait.
think Charlo overrated? No evidence?
Oh my goodness, no evidence.
Ooh.
No evidence acting up today. I don't know what's up with
Yeah, he
him.
cutting up in the chat today. That's my
I don't know
dog.
what's
Yeah.
up with yeah.
He
That's
said
usually
Charlo
my little.
overrated. I mean, this is the thing with Charlo. I mean, we haven't seen him since the Canelo fight, so I don't want to put that jacket on him. You know what I mean? And plus, I mean, Charlo's the guy that swept that 154-pound division. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
he
Like
did.
he put in a lot of leg
That
work
fight
at
with what was
154. You
it?
know what I
Who?
mean?
James Tony. That fight with James Tony that they had twice, or what was the name?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
He
that was.
put in a lot of leg work at 154, so I mean it's kind of hard for me to believe that Charlo overrated. I don't believe so, man. But I'm curious to see what Jamil does coming back though, for
Yeah, I am
sure.
too. I am too.
William Old School said, from what I'm hearing, my source, Mel has been back in the gym and he wants his belts back before moving to 160. Okay. Okay, that's why I believe he definitely still won a campaign at 154 for sure, because he still is champion of recess for the WBA at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we can get into the next one, man. Another fight that was real significant this year, man. Um,
Let's do
one of my
it.
favorite fights too, I believe.
Get in there. Oh! Clip. He did get clipped. And now Morrell trying to fight back. Benavidez though.
Benavidez is not going to hold. He's going to fight through it.
Unbelievable. He got clipped. Morrell now going in, and he's got him rattled again.
Morrell's doing what he said he would do. Punch for punch.
Benavidez down once in his career. Morrell has him on the ropes. Time is going to run out, but drama here in the first, and here comes Benavidez. Not throwing back and gets clipped with the left hook. The guard proving to be porous. That left uppercut rattled Morrell. Backs him up. And there's another left uppercut. David Benavidez putting on a clinic, and Morrell needs to find a way to slow Benavidez down. Now Morrell fighting back. We used to sing from Benavidez.
Yeah, man. That was one of my favorite fights, man, right there. David Benavidez versus David Morrell earlier this year, man. That fight was everything that I expected it to be. Like I enjoyed that fight 100% between those two guys. Sis, what you think about that fight right there earlier this year?
Oh my God, I could not wait till you got to that one. I loved that fight. And let me tell you something. I think that is the prime example of even when you lose, you can win. Because one of the fights that I am checking for July 12th is David Benavidez. I mean, David Morrell, because he is on the
Yeah,
undercard along with Subria Matias and Alberto Preo. He is on that undercard, and I cannot wait to see how he performs after his loss. Although Benavidez was the better man that night, I became a fan of David Morrell in that fight because I was like, yo, David Morrell is a dog, yo. He
for
definitely
real.
showed that dog mentality. He got in there and he did what he could with arguably the base of 100 and what was that, 68 pounds? Because since Canelo don't
Yeah.
want to fight him, I have denounced that Chucky doll to all the ends of
I might
Ohio
have to
runs
come in.
boxing. What's
Can't hear you.
up? We
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can hear you.
you.
We can hear you, brother. What's good, bro? He probably trying to get his signal together. Yeah, go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that I became a fan of David Morrell in that fight because um, he showed me some real dog. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely cannot wait to see him back in the ring July 12th. Um, that was definitely one of my favorite fights of the year too. I actually thought you were going to start with that one, but I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That definitely was one of my favorites of this year for sure.
How y'all doing?
What's good, brother? What's good,
Hey,
bro?
hey, Ohio.
Chilling. Well, I'm on my lunch break, so I can spare 15 minutes. You got that?
You all good. Yeah, man. I was just showing the clip of David Benavidez and David Morrell. We going over the best fights of the first half of this year, man. And we was talking about David Benavidez and David Morrell, and that fight was amazing fight from them two guys, man. What you
Yeah,
think
man,
about that
definitely.
fight in particular?
Yeah, yeah, that was a good fight. That was a good fight. I think it lived up to the hype. Some people, yeah, yeah. I don't really think nobody really said any negative about that fight. But the ones that wanted Morel to win, that was about it. But good fight.
Right,
I enjoyed it.
absolutely. Yeah, man. And that was the fight that, David Benavidez, his experience showed in that fight. And I said that was gonna be a key factor in that fight for sure, because that was David Morrell's first, big fight, pay-per-view wise under the lights and stuff and
Right,
everything.
right.
And that experience definitely played a factor in that fight for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And I got another one, man, that a part of this fight that from this actual fight card that I thought that was a dope fight as well. I'm gonna play this one real quick as soon as I get it together. That's right here. That's right here. Where we at? We kind of lost in the sauce a little bit today.
Cruz launching an attack. Firo standing his ground.
What heart from Cruz to rally big here in the final 30 seconds.
What bigger heart for Pietro to continue to fight this fight.
A visceral display of courage, skill, and determination that defines the essence of not only Mexican boxing, but boxing, period.
Yeah, man, that was Pitbull Cruz versus Angel Ferrero, man. That was one of the fights on the undercard of David Benavidez versus David Morrell, which is to a lot of people one of the best fights this year as well. And both of these guys are fighting again in the rematch on Pacquiao versus Barrios undercard July 19th. So, what y'all think about that scrap that went down that same night on Benavidez and Morrell?
That was a good, yeah, them the brawl, man. Just
Yeah,
two warriors, man. That's just going at it. That fight almost looked like the one on Jake Paul's card last night with what's his name, Griffin.
yeah, Griffin and Julia Rodriguez. Yeah,
Man, they was going at it, and Griffin put him down. Like Griffin was a dog too, man. I hated that he went down like that. I was like, dang. But it's exciting, man. It's ups and downs. In good fights like that, when you have good fights, man, it's ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster. One minute you think the guy is getting the best of his opponent, then the opponent comes right back and put on a 2 minutes ass whooping clinic right back on you. So it's a back and forth. Those are really good fights sometimes. You know what I mean? For the most time, for entertainment purposes, especially if you're trying to capture the new fans. The fans that really watch it, but not all the time.
right.
You capture them with those type of fights.
Yeah, what you thinking, Ant? I don't know my man Ant got his sound together yet.
Ant need to stop stealing the people Wi-Fi. Yeah, I definitely agree. That definitely was Mexican style boxing because it really wasn't much technique in there, just kind of a whole bunch of slugging. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Right.
But for what it was amazing.
Now you don't like that jab, dude, as slugging as much. I think I like all type of styles of fighting, so I get it. Once you get them back and forth, it's and they both laying leather. I like it. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, I like the slick boxer. I like the guy that can box and then get hit with big shots, and he's forced to bite down sometimes too. So it's all just different techniques. I like it all.
Yeah, no, and not to say that I'm just saying it just was it was a little bit rock'em sock'em robotish, but
Yeah.
neither both of them had a goddamn chin. I'll tell you that much.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and it posed up where they got this rematch for this fight July 19th, man. And I think this fight gonna be it's gonna be the same exact way, man. And they got a little bit. If you seen the press conference that they did It was a little spicy between them two, man. Both of them guys, Pitbull Cruz and Pharrell, they do not like each other, man. So I'm definitely expecting them to lay it all out on the line again, July 19th in that ring.
Listen, that's because there can only be one Mexican gatekeeper, so that's who they fighting for.
Dang, boy. Speaking of gatekeepers, now do y'all believe Tevin is a gatekeeper?
I've been said
Man,
Tevin was a
Me
gatekeeper.
too.
I just was rooting for him. I
I
like
got
Tevin
you.
Farmer, and I was just very sad to see how he went out last night. I don't know why. I was just sad because I thought he would at least put up a better fight than that, and I did think he would win based on his experience. But factoring in the fact that he had some injuries, he lost his last three fights. I guess maybe I didn't think enough of Kid Austin because of his previous performances and the fact that he ducked out of the fight with Shakur. I just didn't think that he was ready for somebody who I perceived to be a scrappier, busier fighter in that ring. So I was 100% wrong, and I was sad about it, honey.
yeah,
Yeah.
I got you right here, Marcus. Hold on. Oh, here you go. Man.
Pretty
Oh,
pretty much what I said. I said this was going to
ugh.
be Floyd's Paulie Malignaggi, Porter moment. I felt like this was the perfect opponent. I felt like he was stronger. I did not think Tevin can punch with him, and I thought he was going to brawl with Tevin. He wasn't. He was going to take the give, and he did it earlier. I think he stopped him way earlier than I expected, but it's just the style. I think it was a shout out to Golden Boy, perfect matchmaking because just like Jab just said, there were a lot of people that actually thought Tevin had a chance, and that is great for matchmaking where you fighting a guy with experience, even though you feel like you have the upper hand when you're making this match. And I think Golden Boy knew that was a perfect opportunity for them because again, if you are picking Tevin going into this fight, you got to exalt Schofield. You got to say, well, damn, hey, he did this thing. I wasn't picking him, but now he gets to run with this and act like he more than what he really is, based off his performance. So, hey, shout out to him and his team, man. They did. It was a great match. Was Tevin, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tevin get another opportunity. He gonna get another fight. Uh, that's what gatekeepers is. But I don't know if he's gonna uh, call it quits. But that money, if they still paying some good, decent purses for him, man, I wouldn't turn it down.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you finally together, brother?
No, I just got a phone call a second ago. Can
Okay,
you hear
okay,
me?
okay. There you go. There you go.
I can't disagree with my guy, man. If they call, the money is right, and the positive side, right? There's a silver lining in what happened yesterday is that it was brief. It ain't like he got his ass whooped. He just got clipped with a shot. So you get clipped with a
Oh, I
shot, you
think.
still somewhat preserved,
Go
you
ahead.
good to go. You know what I'm saying? He got clipped with a shot, so to some degree he's still preserved. It's not like he took a massive beating or something like that. It was quick and painless.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I
Right.
think it was going to lead to that. If he was going to show a little bit durability in that fight, a beating was coming, bro. It was coming. You can
I was
tell
on the
by the
fence about the
confidence of
beating
Floyd.
part. I was on the
Huh?
fence about that. I said I was on the fence about that because what I was looking for Floyd Schofield is whether or not he cleaned up his technique. In just his last fight, the technique was still looking shoddy, especially down the stretch. But I knew that there was the potential for something like that to happen early
Mm-hmm.
on. But what I didn't take into account was the fact that Tevin would be uncharacteristically irresponsible that early on. Like that was a rookie move. Like being in the mid range like that and you're not prepared to block a shot, catch a shot, or make some type of defensive maneuver. He pretty much just got caught with his chin just right on. That's not something I would have expected to see from Tevin Farmer.
Yeah. And sometimes, I'm going to say this, sometimes that plays into the build-up press conference, trying to take him out of his game, man. The fight started at the press conference. You got to get them out of their comfort zone and put them in a position that they normally wouldn't be in when they come into the ring. You know, do you make Tevin the aggressor when he's really not the aggressor by talking junk in the press conference? You know, that's a strategy that a lot of people don't look at, but it plays a big part of going into that fight. You know, that was the first time I seen him that you know, that wide too. He was real close and he got hit solid. And I was just like, dang,
Yep.
that's crazy. So you absolutely right. All right, it was like
He was
crazy to see
lunching out
that.
there, man. He was like
Yeah.
lackadaisical as hell. Just and even if he were to, let's say, if he were to be the aggressor, right, and he were to press the action, feint a little bit more, at least fail the young guy out and see what his speed is like, see what his power is like, see what chances you can take early on, and all right, we might have to wait him out a little bit. But Tav
Right.
was
Right.
just in there, just mid range, with his hand down, chin not tucked behind his shoulder, damn near squared up. I was just like, what is he doing? And
Mm-hmm.
I gotta give
Right.
Floyd Schofield credit for seizing the opportunity. He took advantage of what was presented to him. So even with him, it's like I think it's a sensational knockout. But it's difficult to really gauge his performance because I didn't feel like I seen enough from him.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Tev pretty much just threw him the alley oop. Because I wanted to see what he was gonna look like, how he was gonna manage the fight, um, how his technique was gonna look. Because like once again, you know, watching that Renee Jerome fight, there were a lot of times where he's switching unnecessarily. Um, every time he's throwing his power hand, he's falling in. On the inside, he just didn't look good on the inside as far as like clinching. I'm looking like, yo, you're wrapping you're wrapping your arms around the guy's waist, but you're not necessarily tying him up. So he's still working with the free hand, Jerome that is. And then there was that one moment in particular where he tried to tie Jerome up, but he let the guy throw a little hook over the top, and then Kid Austin just disengages and turns his back and just walks off. Like, what the hell? Like, the ref didn't call for a break. You can't do things like that. So I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
see how he was gonna mature from that performance. And sensational knockout, but I still got a couple more questions.
Yeah.
I just want to see a little bit more. And it's not knocking him. It's just like Ted didn't provide enough resistance to ask enough of those questions.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
how has he
I,
grown
I
from that last moment?
I agree. I think, but he gained a lot of the casual fans, you know, just off that. You know, they're gonna be hyping him and pushing him to fights, you know, that he probably don't even think he's ready for. But that was the whole goal, was to get was to boost his stock up. He's been avoiding certain fights, and then you know injuries come out of nowhere, sicknesses come out of nowhere. He done got out multiple times, so it's like he needs to build his confidence too, because I feel like that's been a part of he's been lacking a little bit, is his confidence. So maybe this helps him take a little bit more challenging fights down the road. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But I'm gonna get up off here, guys. I'm gonna go back in and clock in, man. I just wanted to tap in
Yeah.
with my boys
Yeah,
real quick.
salute to you, brother, man, for
Yeah, it
sure,
was
brother.
good talking to you, Ohio.
Yep. Y'all have a good one.
Much
You
love. Much
too.
love. So I got this next one right here, man. Which this was, speaking of my man's going to my man, no evidence right here. Since he was speaking about Nawa and your way, one of the best fights this year.
Have a performance like that tonight with and Cardenas. So perhaps into round two.
There's a whizzing left hook from Cardenas, but back great a jaw and a pull back sneak. Ooh, big swift hand, but was able to move the monster back.
Even catching it on the gloves and ripping with the right hand. Oh, misses again.
On that left hook.
Oh, he lands it again, nearly off the gloves. Abinoue deflected just enough of that shot, Chris.
Like he said yesterday, well, Cardenas likes to brawl too.
Down to the bottom. Right, relax. He said he had a fight.
Just again with that left hook from Naiwa. In a way, it's that knockdown.
Oh, what a... Oh, he almost got caught. Wide open.
Well, that's actually how he dropped Luis Nery. Good work.
Oh, comes the monster.
That rock. triple jab, get back on that jab. That was a good body shot from the challenge. That was a hard shot. Oh, another hard shot. That was huge. That one, as Cardenas backs up against the ropes. Body work. He looks a bit rattled. He's got to get out of that corner. Ooh, big shot there. Big left hook.
Man, crazy fight right there from Nawa Inoue and Ramon Cardenita right there, man. Early this year, that in May, that was the fight that saved the weekend. That weekend from that bad boxing weekend from Times Square and Saudi Arabia, right there, man. What y'all feel about that fight in particular, right there?
You want to go in, or you want me to go?
Sure. I thought it was just more of Monster showing that grit, showing that determination. I mean, the first time it was like really on display for me was that Nonito Donaire fight, the first fight.
Yeah,
Dude got his orbital bone fractured or broken, whatever happened to him. He suffered a gruesome eye injury, thugged it out, pulled out the decision. Then Luis Neri dropped him, got up, stopped him. Now this fight, like the guy, one thing you can say about Monster anyway is he is no front runner. And I think a fight like that proves it. And I think it's also important too to note, because I know a lot of people criticize him. He got dropped by somebody we never heard of, yada yada yada. But this is this guy's, what weight class is it for him? His fifth or something like that. The guy started all the way down there at 108. Now he's up at 122. So
yeah,
naturally, one would assume that the guys he's facing now, they're accustomed to being hit by bigger guys. They can absorb more punishment. And then not only that, but they can also dish it too. But yeah,
absolutely.
Monster, he just keeps showing and proving, showing and proving. Why, many people believe he's pound for pound, or at the very least top three consensus pound for pound. Because he gives you a little bit of everything. He gives you action, gives you bravery, he gives you intelligence, he gives you speed and power, all that. Like you get a little bit of everything when you watch Monster fight. A little bit of everything.
Absolutely. What you think, sis?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I agree. That is the fight that saved that old rotten weekend cards. So definitely, but
Man,
Monster been putting on lately. I ain't even gonna front. I really wasn't high on him at first, but he gained a fan. I'm definitely feeling Monster. I like how he gets hit, and then even if he does go down, when he gets up, it's all bad for them niggas. It's all bad for them.
facts, facts. Yeah, that was like Ant mentioned last year with Luis Neary, he got knocked down in that fight, then came back and stopped him, and
Oh
it
my
was
goodness.
similar. It was similar in this situation with Cardenitez in this fight, where Cardenitez knocked him down early in the fight, and then
Hmm.
Nawa anyway just went in demon mode after that.
That
Just
reminds
you
me of
know.
how Abdullah Mason did when he got knocked down.
Absolutely. Similar to that. Absolutely. Nawa anyways definitely a pound for pound guy for sure in my opinion, especially at them lower weight classes. And right, of course he has the fight with MJ September 14th. And then Turkey, he just announced him fighting Alan Picasso for December 27th for a card that he's trying to put together for us Japan versus Mexico. And Junto Nakatani is going to fight now, anyways, that we just showed Ramon Cardenitez on that card as well. So Cardenitez, get him another bag after fighting anyway, fighting Nakatani, which is kind of interesting because you see that anyway and Nakatani's on the Clash collision coming up pretty soon, and right now, anyways, he's active, man. He got 2 fights locked in for the rest of this year, man, and he's active, man. What y'all think about the activity of anyway, him
I
being
like
very
it. I,
active?
I like these guys that constantly get in there and stay busy, unlike some of these niggas who only fight once a year. I love it. I love the action, yo. I love it. Get in there and get to it. That's how you stay in shape, and that's how you stay ready so you ain't got to get ready if you got a big fight on the table.
Absolutely. I like this comment from Rob Walker where he said, I want to see Monster at 126 to face some higher level competition. Those smaller weights don't have the same level of available talent as the higher division. I absolutely agree. And that 126 division, they got some guys up there, man. And I'm definitely been a guy that been on record saying that I would definitely, want to see him at 126 soon. But from what I've heard anyway, they
Ain't
said
shoot
that
shoot
they
at
want to have him fight
126?
at least 2 more fights. Like he's at 122 right now. And I heard that his camp says they want him to fight a couple more fights at 122, and then he'll eventually move up to 126.
Ain't shoot shoot at 126?
Yeah, Shushu at 126. You got Rafael Espinosa, Angelo Leo, he's champion there. Nick Ball, no Nick Ball. That's a fight that was rumored for anyway. Among with Turkey. So it's some guys up there at 126 for sure. Some better names than right now at 122 because I anyway right now at 122 he just sweeping all them guys off the map right now. Yeah. So with anyway, my boy he said no evidence said who you got Monster versus Junto. Ugh. Man, I don't know. That's a 50-50 one, man. I ain't really got no pick in that one right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love that fight though, and that's a fight that they're building right now. That's gonna be a big money fight in Japan when they do make that fight happen eventually. What y'all think about that?
Yeah, I hate when I do that. Start talking and my damn thing is on mute. Who did he say? Junto? Yeah, that's a good fight. But isn't Junto who did I see that he's about to fight or he just fought that name?
He just fought a couple weeks ago
That's what
and
I
got a
thought.
knockout. And right now, like I just said, I mentioned that they're trying to set Junto to fight Ramon Cardenitez on that December 27th Japan versus Mexico card.
Oh, I did see that. I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good fight. Who is Monster? Does he have a next opponent?
Yeah, he's fighting his mandatory MJ, the guy that's been
MJ.
calling him out for the longest. So they finally got that fight locked in for September 14th. And then of course, Turkey announced that he'll be fighting Alan Picasso December 27th, headlining that Japan versus Mexico card.
You think he beats Carrington, Rod? Rod said he thinks that what you call beats Carrington. You know what? I'm not that high on Carrington any damn way, so whatever.
I
Shoot.
like shoot shoot.
I like
Yeah.
shoot too, but that nigga 37 still a contender. Like, get out of here with that, bro.
37. He's
Yeah,
28 years old.
Yeah, he's
I
47. He's 47 and still a contender.
yeah, I
That's
like I like I know. Well, you of course you remember on the show the other day. I put out there that Shushu mentioned that Nick Ball turned down 2 million
yeah, I saw that.
on that fight. Far as that, but and then they moved Shushu out of the WBO sanctioning body at 126 for Rafael Espinosa titles, and they got Shushu number 2 for the WBA, and he's number 1 for the WBC. And I'm hearing Ray Vargas is no, that was going to be a fight that he was going to make, but now I heard that fight fell off, and Ray Vargas is about to fight somebody else now. L Dub, he mentioned that earlier that Ray Vargas would be fighting on the Tank undercard. So I don't know what happens right there as far as that. It's a lot of
It's a lot of
lot
moving
of
pieces.
stuff. Yeah, a lot of different moving pieces in that 126 division right there. But and I said this, I think Rafael Espinosa is the best guy at that 126-pound division. And he's a big guy. I don't know how long he's going to stay at 126. You know what I'm saying? Because he's definitely a big guy, and he's the biggest guy out of the four champions that are there. And I know they ain't pushing for anyway to make that fight happen with him and Rafael Espinosa. We know they ain't pushing for that, even though I would love to see that fight between them two. So my boy Rod Walker said Carrington is good. I don't think he would deal with the pressure of anyway. I think Nick Ball handles that better. Carrington needs to take better fights. It's time to step up. Absolutely. Yeah, top rank. They got great matchmaking over there, man, and they've been playing it. They playing it a little bit safe with them on fights. I will say that, but I mean, you can't. Anything can happen in the ring fighting these guys. And Shushu, he's definitely been showing up and showing out a little bit. Even though the fight before the last fight that Shushu had, I say the two fights that he had before the last fight that he just because he had a knockout in his last fight, but before that he was going to decision, and he had a couple performances that people didn't think that was all the way crazy for real. But I like Shushu, man, and no, I want to see him fight, get one of those top guys at 126 eventually for sure.
Yeah, I like Shushu too, but like Rod said, he needs to step it up. What's the holdup?
Absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely, man. And I'm gonna play another clip right here of one of the, it was an upset fight. You know what I'm saying? It was just a significant fight, and it moved some pieces amongst, boxing in the 147-pound division a little bit. And here we go.
Ryan Garcia, that last fight against Ben.
Oh my gosh. A double hook, short hook, caught Ryan right on the chin, dropped him in the second round. Rolling Romero, wow.
Biggest debate of the night.
Yeah, man. That was Ryan Garcia, man, getting upset by Rolly Romero right there. And it was definitely a lot of moving pieces with that because Rolly became champion as interim champion for the WBA, and now he's eventually gonna get elevated now that Boots moved up to 154. So what y'all think about that one in particular right there?
I found it interesting that Rolly was able to disarm Ryan easily, and some others were not able to do the same thing. But as far as them as a whole, I mean, Rolly has progressively gotten better. I don't know why people hate to admit that, but Rolly has definitely progressively gotten better. I'll even go out there and say ever since he left Bullet, he's been
Yeah,
getting better than me.
most definitely. And him
But
messing with Ismail Salaz that definitely then turned them around a little bit for sure.
yeah, so I mean, I don't really see why everyone is surprised. I did think, Ryan was going to be able to do something with him, but hey, some Rolly had other plans, and he said, "Y'all gonna stop overlooking my little awkward self."
Yeah, for real, sis. For real. What you think, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the surprise came from not necessarily the skills, but Rolly being able to hold it together because you see him since the Tank fight, and he's been looking a little lost. Before he was like real brash,
Yeah,
outspoken. He was everywhere doing 1,000,001 interviews. Then he got knocked out by Tank. Then the Barroso fight. Then the sparring footage of him and Jahan Ingram that surfaced. So it seemed like it was all but a foregone conclusion that he was going to get hit with a left hook and then just sent on his merry way. But like Ty Dreyfus for president, by the way. But like she said, Rolly had other plans. Do I think he's gotten incrementally better? Yeah. Um, and just Ryan. Here's another thing we've seen with Ryan. Like Ryan, when there's a little bit of resistance, he's gonna shell up. He's gonna shell up. We seen the way he came out versus Tank, guns blazing, got countered, kept his hands to himself for about 3 rounds or so. Then he started letting them hands go again. And same thing against Rolly. He came out, guns blazing, got caught with a shot, then he was on his best behavior after that. It's like it was a nice win for Rolly. Ryan, I don't know what's going on with him. I see you play the thing. Well, showed the screenshot. Him and Oscar, they going through a spat again. Them guys are made for each other. The toxicity. Rolly can definitely be a player at 147. It seems like it's wide open. I think right now the biggest and baddest thing at 147 is probably Brian Norman Jr. since the departure of Boots. We don't know what's going on with Ryan. We don't know what Dev is gonna do. What the hell is Mario Barrios gonna do after the Pacquiao fight?
Right.
I'm not even mad at Mario Barrios. Get that paper. You know what I'm saying? Get that money while it's available to you.
Absolutely.
Because your babies can't eat no WBC championship belts. So get that money, get paid. It's a golden opportunity themselves into commodities, man, with the departure of Boots Ennis. So, yeah, it was a
Absolutely.
good fight, though. It was a good fight from Rolly. I was very surprised at how well he held it together. His composure was the most surprising thing to me. Not the fact that he got strength. We've seen that already. We've seen him in there with guys like Anthony Yiggett, who Anthony Yiggett was a pretty good amateur, and he's a solid pro in his own right. Dude got skills, and Rolly just overpowered him. So, yeah, him catching Ryan on the chin and dropping him. Luke Campbell done already did that. So that wasn't really a surprise. But I was very, very surprised at his focus and his composure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then Ron Walker, he said, I wonder what Bill is thinking to sign Devin up for that fight. What does he see that they can exploit? Maybe what happened with Randall versus Norman, but he has evolved since then. Who knows? What y'all think about that from Rod Walker right there?
I think Rod Walker's on point, man. Like Brian Norman Jr. has clearly showed some growth, man. We were watching a couple of his fights. Shout out to, once again, the president, Todd Drakeford, and my man, T. Hill. But prior to the Sasaki fight, we were watching a couple Brian Norman fights, and I'm like, yo, Brian Norman Jr. actually got some pretty good feet. Early on, he wasn't really using them. And me personally, I was very impressed with Brian Norman Jr. in the Sasaki fight. I understand people can say Sasaki's a rock'em sock'em robot. He a crash out, crash test dummy, all that good stuff. But if you watch the way that he fought versus Boca Chica, my man was damn near looking for a way out. You know, that fight got concluded with a no contest. And that was a fight where you got a guy like Boca Chica who isn't necessarily the most polished, but he's a rugged guy. And Brian struggled with him, but was a rugged guy with power. Let's not forget that the dude had 17 knockouts and 19 wins going into that fight. And he only lost prepared to deal with him. If you're not poised, if you're not composed, you go out there and get into an exchange room, you could get sat down. The guy can crack. But Brian Norman Jr., he was very surgical. That was probably the most precise performance I've seen from him this far, where it was just like very technically sound, but he didn't sacrifice anything either. Because you see that sometimes with guys where they try to refine themselves and get too refined, but they lose that edge. They lose that edge. And I think that's something that happened, to go back to Rolly. In his first fight with Salas against Pitbull, against Barroso, I would say, against Barroso, he just looked like he was waiting a little too long, and he lost that aggression, that thing that made him Rolly. And then now he's starting to find a little bit of balance between technical prowess and still being able to assert himself. So I think that Brian Norman Jr., I give him a lot of credit for that, staying composed, not fighting that guy's fight, not getting drawn into a stupid fight, and then also just the way that he conducted himself leading up to the fight. He went out there to Japan several weeks ahead of time to get himself acclimated. Because I couldn't even imagine, being supplanted halfway around the world on a 13-hour time difference. You know what I mean? Like dudes from the East Coast, well, from the South, but Georgia, that's Eastern Standard Time. So that's a 13-hour time difference. So when he was fighting, that's typically the time he would probably be asleep back home. So just the fact that he was out there weeks ahead to get accustomed to the time zone and all that other stuff, and I thought he just carried himself like a class act, man, like a pro. And if they're banking on this dude being the same guy that he was when he fought Quentin Randall, I think they're going to be sadly mistaken. And I also feel like this experience traveling out to Japan, being the road warrior, it also gives him another layer of confidence in his profession, in his professionalism, and also just in his abilities and in his training. You know what I mean? Because confidence is trust. It's not delusion. It's not self belief. Like, oh, I believe I can do this. It's like, nah, I've done this. I got evidence that I can do it. I got proof of concept. I can trust in this. So I think that Brian Norman Jr. is going to be clicking on all cylinders, man.
Yeah, Donald now, what's good, brother? What you thinking, brother?
I was up here because y'all was talking about Sugar Rolly Romero, so you know I had to come up here and speak the good word on Sugar Rolly Romero. You
Go
know what
ahead,
I'm saying?
go ahead and speak your piece, brother.
Nah, I think 147 is in a good space right now because I like all the guys that are trying to move up. I don't think T.O.'s moving up. As much as people say T.O.'s going to 47, I think he's going to stay at 40 because he is a little bit too thin to be at 47. But I love the Devin versus Norman. And like I said earlier, if y'all heard me on Dean's channel, I don't see what everybody sees that Devin can do to Norman, but he has a ability to win, but I don't know if he's going to be able that game plan that they think with Quentin Randall is going to work. He can't just outbox this guy now. He's different. When you become a champion, you get better because you know that pressure now. So it's like, yeah, and then Sugar Rolly Romero going to be undisputed. So I don't even understand why we even here. Like, Rolly finna be the king of 147, so let's get this over with.
For sure, man. For sure. I mean, I hear with Rolly right now. Rolly, I'm hearing that he's kind of like sitting back, kind of waiting to see how everything play out for us. Pacquiao versus Barrios. What y'all think about that? Him waiting for Pacquiao versus Barrios.
I don't know why people thought I was playing when I made that post and Rolly said it out his own mouth. He wants to fight either David Benavidez or Pacquiao. I'm not kidding. Rolly said this like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I don't know about. See, I don't believe the David Benavidez part. I think he was trolling when he said that. Now Pacquiao, I do believe he want to fight the winner of this, especially Pacquiao, because you'll get a big bag fighting Pacquiao for sure. What y'all think?
It's an easy fight to make because it's in house, first of all.
Yep.
So that would be an easy unification. You know what I'm saying? So and it's the biggest bag you can make. Imagine if Barrios beats Pacquiao or Pacquiao beats Barrios. Then you got Rolly coming back. Man, that's a main or a co-main. It could be either way. If Barrios wins, it's a co-main on the card, big money. If Pacquiao wins, that's a main. And that's going to sell out because now Pacquiao has the whole. He's coming back. He's 40. What 46? I'm like, oh, you know how many seats that's going to sell? Man, that sells itself.
Is Barrios with PBC too?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yep.
Yep,
Either
that'd be a
way,
easy.
Rolly win. Either way.
Yep, that'd be an easy fight to make with them both being in house for sure. And
Imagine an event though. If that's like a Pacquiao versus a Rolly, that first of all, that's going to be a build up. That's going to be hilarious. Rolly's another champion. Oh my god! Don't let Rolly mess around and win that fight and become unified. Oh my god!
Man, I'm not even sure Pacquiao makes it. I love Manny Pacquiao, but even this fight with Barrios, the way he looked versus that kickboxer dude in that exhibition, it was only 3 rounds, and he was in there huffing and puffing. The rhythm didn't look the same.
man,
I'm nervous for Manny Pacquiao.
me too, bro. I ain't gonna lie, man, because I watched that exhibition that day, and I was like, Pacquiao
Damn,
just don't
y'all
need to be
nervous?
doing no exhibitions, man. I'm like, I was thinking he didn't need to do no exhibitions, but now he's stepping into a world title fight with Barrios. Barrios better handle business, man, because he gonna get a lot of flack if he lose to Pacquiao for sure.
I mean, I don't. Listen, I don't even know why they letting him come back, if I'm being honest. Apparently they like him. He has a huge fan base still. So like Don said, the money, 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 baby.
That's what it is. It's the money. That's why they letting him come back. There's no reason but that.
Yeah.
That man was laying down in the Senate of the Philippines,
Yeah, well,
General
he done lost
Santos
all that
City or
money.
wherever he's from, and just
He
and
done
just
lost
woke
all that.
up. And I don't think he's just coming back for the money alone though, because there's Manny Pacquiao with his likeness alone and everything he's done. I'm pretty sure he can find ways to put some deals together. We're not just talking about any old any old guy. Did you see the fanfare up there in Stoda for Manny Pacquiao during the Boxing Hall of Fame induction? They could find
Yeah,
ways to make money for Manny Pacquiao that don't involve him getting punched in the liver and knocked upside his head. Um,
absolutely.
Damn.
he genuinely thinks he can break Bernard Hopkins' record as the oldest champion.
And don't get me wrong, he has a chance because Barrio don't do nothing but pull straight back and get punched in the face all the time. So if he get lucky and catch him, it's over for it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't think he's gonna be able to because I think Mario Barrio is gonna be as serious he's ever been in this fight. But if he looks around and wins this, you know how big of a fight. Man, Floyd might come out and try to fight man.
Man, I heard
First of
somebody
all, we
say,
see
I heard
all
somebody
these
mention that,
we see that all these older fighters are coming back off a box rec. I told y'all Shane Mosley got a fight on the 25th of July.
and he got no business coming back. Like, and I did hear that too, Dondrick. Though somebody mentioned talking about if Pacquiao wins, they was somebody try to put out the whole narrative that Floyd to come back to fight Pacquiao, and I'm like, man, that's far fetched for me to see that, man. But the way this shit going right now, bro, anything is possible right now, dog. You said my
Man,
boy
Florida
Rob.
whoop Manny's ass.
Man, Rob Walker said Barrios is a good fighter. He has looked average versus Ramos. Hopefully he gets his focus back. And that was in Barrios' last fight on that Jake Paul card. He said, "Oh, he said oldies but goodies boxing league." 2 Cents said they fighting the oldest champion. Yeah, I mean, dive in a little bit more though to
But
this
in the
though.
amateurs, they got the masters though. They got the masters and the amateurs. I'm not sure why they don't put something together like that for the older boxers. Because in the masters, you got 35 and up. So at least you be fighting against guys your own age, you know?
Yeah, back to this
Maybe they
right
could do
here a
something
little
like that.
bit. With this fight
Similar
with
to what they're
Brian
doing in
Norman.
basketball with that big three.
Okay, okay. Okay. So look, just switching a little bit of gears with this fight right here, man, that just got announced today officially. Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney, man. So what y'all think a little bit, just kind of a little breakdown as far as this fight a little bit more in depth, a little bit.
Well, first of all, I have all of Devin's supporters on my page, child, flocking at me about how I was wrong about them fighting. I'm going to say this. If it makes it to that fight, if it makes it all the way to November, because I have a sneaky suspicion that Bill will be pop locking and dropping to do anything he can to get his son out of this fight. But in the event that it actually makes it to their final destination, I will give Devin his credit. He needed. So I will definitely give it to him.
What you think, Dodger?
I think it's a good fight. I don't think he has no choice but to go through with it because if he backs out now, no one's gonna take him serious, him or Bill. So I don't think Turkey gonna let him back out. I think they're gonna be like, you gotta fight this fight now.
I mean, but we heard him trying to back out of it. You know what I'm saying? But to your point, he kind of is in between a rock and a hard place. But I guarantee you, Bill's wheels are spinning and looking for ways to get his son out of this fight. He may not
No,
be successful, but he looking.
he got that snack, man. He might be all right.
Yeah, and what you think about this far as the style matchup of this fight, Ant?
Dondrick, I said the same thing about my boy Caleb Plant. Then he lost to Resendiz. I said he got that snack. He gonna be all right. And my dog Caleb Plant was out there
Hey,
getting
when that
punched
snack,
on, man.
Too. Caleb
hey,
Plant.
when that snack wear off, it's over for it. It don't ever come back good again. Same thing happened with Boo Boo too.
Caleb Plant is still my guy. I don't care what happens, man. That's my dog.
That's
That's my
right,
dog
Ed.
right there.
Justice for Caleb Plant.
Don't worry, Jamal gonna finish him
Yeah.
off. Don't worry about it, man.
Oh my goodness.
Don't worry about it.
Damn.
Yeah, y'all know I'm a Jamal fan, so don't.
Now in that
You
fight,
think
I
they
will.
make that fight?
In
You
that
think
fight, I will be rooting for Jamal, but overall, Caleb Plant is my guy. I like my white chocolate.
Somebody gotta
y'all
get beat
think
up,
they
man.
still make that fight though with Charlo
Hell yeah,
and Plant
Oh,
hell
even
yeah.
why
after Plant
not?
losing?
Why
Him
not?
or why not?
Yeah.
He still slapped my guy, so shoot, he still got to kiss them work.
Right. I heard that Caleb Plant had a rematch clause on that fight with Resendez.
Well, he
That
can
he
get
may
beat up. He can
want to
get
run
beat up.
that back.
He can fight Resendez after he get beat up.
Stop it.
Oh man.
Nah,
Man,
I got my guy Caleb Plant in a rematch, but Brian Norman and Devin Haney, man. Dev got to be prepared to mix it up, yo. He got to be prepared to mix it up, and he got to be prepared to be as comfortable as he possibly can with being uncomfortable. Because I know all of the water walker and all that stuff that his fans like to call him, and he can move around the ring, and he walk on water and all that stuff. But you still got to score points. And I just don't see Brian Norman Jr. following the guy around, closing the gap, and not letting his hands go. I just don't see that happening. So he's going to have to find a way to generate some type of offense. You can't just play keep away and not score at all. Like, that ain't going to work.
Yeah, because Devin's path to victor is basically, hey, swim without getting wet. And one thing we know about boxing, sooner or later it's gonna break out into a fight unless you run it. So, and people say Brian Norman can't cut off the ring. I don't believe that he can't. We just haven't seen him have to. So it's like, can we say he doesn't know how to cut off the ring? With Quentin Randall, he was cutting off the ring. He just was getting taxed. So it's like, it's gonna be see how Devin's body feels out and all that. Because
I wouldn't assume that he would look much different from the Ramirez fight, because I mean that was at a catch weight of 144, so you're only 3 pounds shy of the limit. So I would assume you probably look similar to that, unless they put together some new strength and conditioning program for him. And by that, I'm not referring to Victor Conti and the beautiful people over at Snack. I'm just saying just his team in general. Unless they put together some new regimen, I don't see him looking too much different than what we just saw. Because in essence, I mean, you got a catch weight at 144. You're pretty much a welterweight. Like, it just is what it is. So I don't really see him looking too much different. I'm just trying to think about,
And
like, what is he going to do tactically?
I hear you, and but if that's the case, and I've heard a lot of people say that, so it's not just you. I've heard people say anything over 140, basically is 147. So why is he not campaigning at the 147?
He's about to start with this fight. It's going to be for Brian Norman's WBC strap. He's going to have to be officially a welterweight, officially newly minted welterweight Devin the Dream Haney. This will not be at no catch weight. It's going to be at 147. So we'll see what he look like in November.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping just mentally, because what I heard from Sugar Shane,
Yep.
that wasn't too encouraging.
Nope.
yeah,
That wasn't too
absolutely.
encouraging.
Teach my boy, man. What's good, man? What you got to say up on here, my dog?
What's good? Man, these guys, the Haneys, they stood on business, man. They got the fight. But besides that, I'm glad the fight is made. And for me, I feel like it's a 50-50 fight. I love the stylistic matchup of this fight. What Brand Norman and Devin brings to the table. one thing that I would say is Devin can't go in there on that bullshit he was on with Jose Ramirez, like, because Brian Norman is not gonna do the same thing as Jose. Brian Norman is gonna let his hands go, right? Um, and that's like a major reason why Jose didn't get any rounds, because he wasn't throwing, and Brian is definitely going to throw in that fight, so he got to go in there with a different strategy to win this fight. Just be the Devin that he used to be, the one that controls distance and all that stuff. And I think he'll be fine. And not giving, Brian Norman like the same looks that pretty much Sasaki gave him. And I mean, although I call it a 50-50, I think I'm going to edge Devin in this fight, man. So we'll see how it goes in November.
Let me ask you why you think it's 50-50 though.
Because again, I like what Brian brings to the table, right? He brings offense. Like, he's a boxer puncher, but he leans towards more of the punching side. I've seen Brian Norman, like, when he was, not good, like the fights before Santillan, right? Like, he wasn't looking very, very good in those fights. But I like his growth, after those fights. Devin, I mean, Devin has been showing that, he's been boxing at a like elite class, before that whole Ryan thing happened. And I think if he goes back to that, the boxing, the keeping distance, that he could possibly win this fight.
Yeah, you see my boy Rob Walker. He says 65-35 in favor of Norman
Mm.
until Devin shows me he is not terrified of getting hit again.
I mean, I get it. I definitely get it after what people saw from the last fight. But I think some things will change, in this fight coming up for sure.
Does he have does he look to have a performance similar to, like, a Lomachenko or Regis Prograis in this fight with Brian Norman?
If I'm gonna be 100% honest, I think that before this fight, Devin should maybe take another tune up to shake a little bit of that fear off of him, because although I understand a lot of his fans say, oh, he won, he 12 zip Ramirez, he didn't look good doing it, and he did not look confident. And I've said this before, Devin, above all else, needs his confidence back. If he goes in there at least with his confidence, then perhaps it will be a 65-45 or something like that. I don't see it 50-50 how Teach does. I just don't. Devin, albeit he is a good boxer, he has a decent jab, he has pretty good footwork, and he has a really good gas tank. I don't really see him being able to do much with Brian Norman Jr. Not saying Brian Norman Jr. is a world beater, but he has also, to Ant's point, has gotten progressively better. So we're going to see what happens, man. I really am intrigued by this fight, and this is one of the fights that now y'all can say Turkey making fights people want to see, because this fight I definitely want to see.
You don't think there's a chance that Devin Haney goes in there, surprises us, and then at the end with the post-fight press conference, he might shed a tear or two and then talk about how he had to overcome all of this mental strife?
No.
Nah.
I don't think he's going to shed a tear. He's just going to say, I told you so.
It's been a hard couple months, and people were counting me out, and they was doubting me. They didn't think I could fight again, and they thought I ain't had no chin, and
Well,
they
I
thought I
don't
was
think so,
scared. And
because
whoop, whoop.
Devin doesn't do stuff like that anyway. Now, if you asking me, will Bill be out there running his lips like Mama Schofield is? Absolutely. But Devin is more laid back than anything, so I doubt he will.
No, but I'm just saying, just more so, just like having a surprise type of performance. Like, all right,
Oh, you think will he
nobody
surprise us and
assumed that
win?
he would. Nobody assumed that he would come out there and he would be strong and robust and dishing it out and taking it and so on and so forth.
Dishing it out and taking it.
Yeah, he might mess around and pull a Timothy Bradley, Ruslan, Provodnikov,
Listen, from what I
thug it
seen last
out,
night, anything is
Timberland boot,
possible.
hard hat type of win. You know what I'm
I
saying?
just
Like
don't
anything
see
is
it.
possible.
Yeah, anything is possible, especially based on what I seen last night and Tevin Farmer do. But to me, I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe, he'll bring out some type of dog that I ain't never seen him have to bring out before, but I just don't see it.
See, I love Ant McQueen because he always the positive one on the panel.
He
And
is.
he be bringing hope to the hopeless. You know what I'm saying? Stop.
No, because my guy
That
T came
man
up
getting
here and
cracked. I
he
ain't saying
said
I
he
ain't
had
even
it.
gonna
He
play with
said
you,
he had
bro.
it 50. He said he had it 50-50.
50
And I
50
can't even.
what?
Yeah, no, but this is what I'm saying is like I can't necessarily disagree with him because we're all up here just pontificating and shooting the shit. Anything is possible, right? So what I'm saying is Jose Ramirez may not have been the one to provide the type of resistance for us to see whether or not Devin Haney still has what he needs to have under the hood. If the
But
cylinders are clicking and the carburetor's all good and this, that, and the third, you
But
know what I mean?
isn't that the point? You were supposed to make that man look like he didn't belong in the ring with you, and it didn't seem that way. Although you outpointed him, yes, he didn't look like he dominated any portion of that fight. He looked terrified to death.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But the flip side of that is this. If you can win that cleanly and get up out of there and look like you can just go straight to the club without any type of controversy, without giving this guy any opportunities, it's like, why not take that? Now, if it's on Ramirez, in my personal opinion, to turn it into that type of affair where we gotta see what Devin Haney has, because Devin Haney by nature, he's not the I'm gonna come in here and just step on you type of guy to begin with. He is a poke and prod. He's a jab, fire the occasional 1-2 type of guy. But generally, like we seen how he fought Kambosos, 24 rounds, and it was just all jabs, 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 jabs. I'm gonna tie his ass up, make sure he don't get anything off. Back to more jabs, back to more jabs, and it works for him. And then Jose Ramirez, did you see his last fight versus Barboza? It was similar. Like he was getting in range, and his offense was very
Exactly.
sporadic.
He had
He
no
was
business
very
in the
sporadic.
ring. Mm, mm, mm.
So what I'm saying is, hell, we were all saying Devin Haney didn't have a chin after what happened with Linares, but yo, I thought he showed a lot of doggedness versus Ryan Garcia. The man got dropped more than 3 times. They only counted 3, but that seventh round, boy, it was
Yeah, he got his
man,
ass whooped.
it was
I mean,
it was
but
thicker than the tension over there on the Gaza Strip.
Aunt,
It
what
was
did you
getting real
expect
in
him to
there.
do? What did you expect him to really do though? I mean, he kept getting hit with the same damn shot, and that's another thing. Like he is very susceptible to left hooks, yo, and he's chinny. I don't care if he keeps getting up. He need to get his ass up, but he's chinny. Any little tap on that chin. Look what the wind blew in. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, man. I just don't know. I mean, I understand your point. We can break some of their styles down a little later if you have time, but I just don't see it. Devin does not have, to me, the dog that he's going to need to have to face Brian Norman Jr. What is going to happen when Devin throw that little tired ass jab out there? And it does not affect Brian Norman Jr. How is he going to keep this man off his ass for 36 minutes?
And what I'm saying to you is this, Ty, is like we don't know. We don't know. I think it's like one of those things where it remains to be seen. Because like based on the last time we seen him, that guy Ramirez didn't push him to the brink. He didn't open up the hood so we could see what was in there.
That's because the car was
You know what I'm saying?
cold. He
So
didn't need to. The car was
but
cold.
this
The
is what I'm
car was
saying.
cold. That car ain't been driven in years. It's
It
good
might
safety.
it might be a sink or swim moment, Ty. It might be one of those moments where I'm pretty sure you've had some of those moments in life where like it was some dire situations and then you just thugged it out and you be like, damn, I can't believe I ain't know I had that in me. Sometimes it's like that, where it's just
Yeah,
like that
that's
fight
true.
or flight. Now hopefully, and this is what I'm saying as a boxing fan, for us, the best case scenario is Devin Haney goes in there and Brian Norman, because we know Brian Norman got cinder blocks in those gloves. He put some heavy shit on Devin Haney, and Devin Haney is like, you know what? I ain't got no choice but to fight now. and he just thugs it out. Win, lose, or draw, he just turns it up. I'm not going out like that. Like I got to. Or he can just resign because we've seen that happen with plenty of guys. We seen it happen with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia got hit with that body shot. That was all she wrote. That man made a business decision. He waited till the ref said 10, he got up. And then all of a sudden, when the ref says 10, now he's on 2 feet. So we've seen guys check out in there. We've seen guys just resign. And hell, we've seen guys get beat to a decision and still check out. Which is like after a certain point in time where they just stop trying to win. But Devin Haney, in that fight, to his credit, against Ryan Garcia, he never checked out. Even when it got, I ain't even think he was going to get up the first time. The way his legs looked, when he was trying to crawl up, his legs was all stiff and shit. He's on all fours trying to gather himself. I'm like, damn, Devin Haney is really about to get counted out. Nope. Got up, got dropped again several times. He held on for dear life, but he never stopped fighting. So what I want to see from him is how the hell does he respond in that moment? Because I do believe that Brian Norman is not going to be a Jose Ramirez where he's going to let him off the hook, where he's going to just let him just bunny hop his ass around the ring. Nah, Brian Norman's like, bro, we coming to fight. We're going to get it in. And he's got enough athleticism to track him down. Jose Ramirez is out there looking a little bit shop-worn. It seems like in his mind, he knows what he wants to do, but the limbs, they just not on the same accord. I'm here in front of him, but I just can't pull the trigger. That's not going to be the case with Brian Norman. So best case scenario, we get a hell of a fight. Worst case scenario, for Devin Haney, that is, he get his ass packed up, and the Haneyites, they're going to have to find another cult to join. And Bill Haney going to have to shut his ass up, at least for a little while. It's going to be somber for a little bit. It's going to be slow singing and flower bringing. But and then we say, hey, kudos to Brian Norman Jr. But best case scenario, that man gets up and he turns into what my man T says, a 50-50 fight. Because I do believe that Devin Haney has the skills, but we got to find out if he's got the wherewithal to apply those skills. That's the most important thing.
I'm glad you feel that way, man. I'm glad you do. Because I don't. I ain't gonna do.
And I respect it. And I understand
I'm
why.
just saying, I'm glad you feel that way.
I have to stop hanging out with Ant because he's starting to make me feel sorry and compassion for these people.
Yep.
I just want to,
No.
I'm gonna stop hanging out with Ant. I'm telling you.
After this fight, and if Dev wins, people gotta respect him.
Oh, if was a fifth, we all be drunk.
Yeah, teacher, I said that. If Devin wins, I will give him the credit he deserves because he need it. He gonna need it.
And then again, with the stylistic matchup, is like, again, I really like this stylistic matchup. We don't know what the guys are going to do at the night of the fight, right? But again, I always got to compare it to this fight. We go back to like the Matias and the Parra fight. A lot of people are expecting Matias to stop the dude. And what did Parra did? He went in there and just controlled the fight. He boxed when he had to box, and he clinched when he had to clinch. And he just outpointed Matias at the end of the night. So it could be a fight like this where Devin just outpoint Brian Norman and gets the win. Obviously,
it could be a Tevin Farmer versus Floyd Schofield when that man just gets straight up cracked.
Yeah, facts. It could be just like that. Devin got knocked out in the first round. So
that's what's gonna happen. I'm just playing.
Man, if that happen, bro, that's gonna be wild. The boxing world is gonna be in shambles that night, boy. If that happens.
Somebody gonna jump off a building that night, man.
If Devin
all the Haney fans gonna be on suicide alert that whole entire week.
That's why I like this fight. Like, if Devin gets KO'd, it's gonna be huge, and if he wins, it's gonna be huge.
Yeah, it's a win-win for me.
Yeah, and Devin gets all the credit for taking this fight, man, for sure. Like, you know what I mean? Of course, it looked like they wasn't gonna take it, but the fight is locked, and this is gonna be an amazing fight for real, man. From just the styles, man. I'm definitely am. You know, a lot of people haven't, they mentioned Brian Norman not being able to cut the ring off on Devin Haney in this fight in particular, which is, I think he got the athleticism to do so. And I, you know what I'm saying? I think, like Ant said earlier, I think he just haven't been in many positions to where he had to cut the ring off. But this is the fight that he gonna be able to show it in right here.
Turkey saw how the last fight went with Devin and Jose. Maybe this time he's going to implement that 18 by 18, even 16 by 16. Who knows?
I'm gonna tell you the truth. The ring size don't matter because if you don't want to get hit, you're not gonna get hit.
I mean, yeah,
It,
that's true. I mean,
it,
if
it, it does not matter. I promise you this now. If you can't cut off the ring, it don't matter.
in the top rank fight with Lorenzo Chuck Simpson and the other guy,
Trucker or Tucker.
yeah,
Yeah,
Chuck
Jai
Jahaz
Tucker.
Tucker. First of
and
all, that fight was
Jahai.
totally stylistically. I don't even want to get in that. Why? Because I saw so many things, but
Yeah,
that had no like. Because
that ring,
Truck
yeah,
just
that
pissed me off
ring
the whole
was,
night.
yeah, that ring was so small, but
That was a
Jahai,
12
he
by
was
12.
slipping. Yeah, Jahai was still slipping like shots and stuff like that. So he moved well in that small ring.
Yeah, that's why it's like you gotta. I tell people all the time, like, hey, if you can't cut off the ring, it don't matter how big the ring is. You just not gonna catch him because your feet is gonna be faster than their hands, no matter what. So if the ring doesn't matter. If Brian Norman can't cut off their ring, Devin's gonna box his head off. The question is, if Brian Norman can cut the ring off, can Devin sit there and fight with him for a while? Because he's gonna have to fight him off.
Right.
I like this question where Rob Walker asked, right? He said, "What can Devin do to keep Norman Jr. honest if his power does not develop at 147? Can he stand in and fight with him?"
And that's what I said. What does he have that's going to keep Norman off his ass?
Man, you throw a lot of body shots. Everybody's weak to the body.
He got hope and prayer. If that happened, hope and prayer.
Got to go back to what my man T said about Liam Paro and Matias. That's one way to do it. You got to limit the output. I always use the same analogy, but the one way you stop a runaway train from running your ass over is you don't let it get out the station, man. Don't let it get out the station. So you look at the way that Liam Paro handled Matias, it was just through a whole lot of physical controls. He shoot his jab, constantly creating traffic with his lead hand, posting his hands up, pinning them, doing little things like that, getting his shots off. Now, of course, occasionally the guy's going to be able to generate some offense, but for the most part, create traffic, pin him up, post him up, be physical with him. Hell, you had one of the longest reigning light heavyweight champions in the history of the sport, Slappy Maxie Rosenblum, right? This guy only had 17 knockouts in over 100 fights. One of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. And one would assume that light heavyweight is definitely the division where you do not want to be lacking in power. So there are multiple ways to skin a cat. You can get things done. Now, once again, I don't know if Devin Haney is going to have the confidence and the wherewithal to do it because it requires you to be physical, to be handsy, to smother and do things like that. I don't know if he's going to have the confidence and the withal or even the physicality and the musculature and all that other good shit to pull it off, but it can be done. It can be done.
I just want to say, Ann, you are my hero. You give life to the lifeless and hope to the hopeless, like Don said. It's just an amazing experience. And I'm sure sooner than later, when I'm over on the corner, he's going to be showing me something that's going to make me give Devin some hope. He going to need it. He going to need hope, wing, and a prayer.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
they'll come with an amazing game plan. Uh, but again, and I want to say this, right? Most of the reason that I do not have a lot of faith in Devin's game plan or Devin's fight game is because of Bill. They hire all these amazing trainers, and then as we heard Shane Mosley say, they barely ever follow the game plan that these trainers lay out for him. And to me, that is a testament of how Bill really feels about his son.
Shit, my boy Rob Walker said that jab just a nuisance. A nuisance. If it is not followed up with solid power shots that keeps him honest, Norman will absorb it and slip in and deliver punishment.
Yep. Like Tank said,
I can agree with that.
how you gonna keep me off you?
I can agree with that, Rob. But here's where timing comes into play. It's like when you throw the jab. When you throw the jab, if he can just keep offsetting him and just keep disrupting his rhythm and not allowing him to counter, I think that's where my man got messed up last night. Avius Griffin, the way he was using his jab. Oh my
Oh
lord.
yeah, Avius
He just
Griffin.
kept getting counted over the top with the damn right hand. And then not only that, but when he was throwing his right hand, he was falling in, getting caught with
So
left hooks and things of that sort.
you still think Bomac the best trainer?
Yeah, I still think Bomac is a hell of a trainer. He was giving Avius Griffin some really good counsel on that, in between rounds. He was giving him good instruction. Bomac can't go out there and fight for him.
Bomac can't.
No, I don't necessarily have hope, Akello, but I will say that I'm not one to just count people out. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
I
not.
believe I believe in the power of capacity and
Yeah, because Devin has
somebody's
the
willingness to
ability.
be better and all this. You know what I mean? Like, can't just be like,
Devin
oh,
has the
he
ability to
trash.
win
It
the
ain't
fight.
happening.
What you say, Don?
Devin has the ability to win the fight. It's just I don't know if he can put it together because it's going to take to him to have the most complete fight he's ever had.
Yeah, he's gonna have to bring those tools out that warehouse that Bill keep talking about. I said that too, Rod Walker. I said that earlier. Maybe it won't be as bad of a weight cut because maybe he'll be fighting closer to what he should naturally be fighting at. But I don't think that has anything to do with his power. When he still ain't got his grown man strength. Can somebody check Amazon and see when it's gonna be delivered?
We ain't see no grown man strip yet, sis, at all. I can tell you that. Devin. I don't like T said and N said. I definitely think Devin definitely gonna have to attack the body. But did y'all even see any body shots from him in that fight with Ramirez for real? Like I seen a few of them, but I
Threw
didn't
like
see a lot of them. I was
he
say
threw
per
like
se.
three of them. He threw like three of them. I can give him that. He threw three of them things. You know what I'm saying? He threw like and stopped. I mean, that's part of his 62 punches he threw, but
I mean,
Yeah.
with Devin, he likes to stab the middle. Usually, that's what he does for his body shots, like stab the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I seen him go like in the Lomachenko fight, like early in the fight, he was winning a lot of them early rounds where he was attacking the body very well, but then towards the later in the fight, he kind of went away from it. You know what I mean? So, like, I hope he don't have that same similar mindset in this fight with Brian Norman Jr. because he's definitely gonna have to, attack that body with Brian Norman for sure, as y'all said for sure.
No, I agree with that, CamJ, for sure, because man, it was getting a little dicey in that Loma fight, man. It was getting a little dicey. I just think that there's a couple of things that he would have to clean up technique wise in order to fight that type of fight with Brian Norman Jr.
yeah, I just want to see who are they going to collaborate with in this fight because at this point, I think a father can take you so far, and then they got to let you go. You know what I'm saying? Even me training my son now, I know after a while I got to let him go because I've never boxed professionally, so I need to get somebody who has more experience. You got to give him up, like, and I believe Bill doesn't want to give up the reins because he wants to take all the credit. So it's like I think he needs to literally because I think Devin can be so much better if he just went with somebody he believed in or believes in him, and they work together. Bill can also be there, but he needs to give the reins up.
I
That's the
think
only way I can see him win because one thing I know about Brian Norman Sr., He's boxed professionally, so he knows.
I think
So
you do that. I think you do that
Yeah.
when it starts to fail, though. So Devin right now, I mean, he's undefeated with pretty much, Bill at his side. So when that starts to fail, I think that's when you need to get a new coach.
he's not undefeated. I don't care how much you want to say that he's not
I
undefeated.
mean, can we stop saying that shit, please?
He's not.
BoxRec says differently.
Just because the boxer says don't mean nothing. We saw it with our eyes. So you
You
telling me
got
my eyes
eyes.
blind?
You got eyes, and what did you see?
4/20/24 will never be forgotten.
I ain't seen nothing.
You ain't see. Okay.
See, but I do want to see
Oh,
everybody keep saying that.
please.
Like you have to, like boxers, even pro boxers have to give up on some of their trainers because their trainers just take them as far as they can go. So I think it's just a natural progression in some people's training in life and profession. Even me, I had to change my mentor. Like you got to change who you're around sometimes to get better, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And you know what? That is a great point, Dondrick, because sometimes you outgrow people, and what, like you said, they can take you only as high as you go. When you reach a certain level, you need to constantly be stepping it up with everything in your circle, whether it be management, whether it be, like you said, training, promotion, everything. You are not always who you were yesterday. You grow, you evolve, and if you don't, something's wrong.
A lot of that might have to do with the money as well. I don't know. Some trainers, they just don't want to have an extra guy in there that they have to pay. So that could be it.
Bill's gonna be all right though. That's his dad. He's gonna take care of his dad, so he doesn't have to be there. He can still be the man. He can still be in the corner. He can still get his little cut if that's what he wants. But it's like that shouldn't be your son's progression because I don't see Devin taking a step into the direction I thought it would. He should be sitting down on his punches, even when he was in. He should have been. He should have took Ramirez out.
Yes. He does not sit on those punches,
He
bro.
doesn't.
When you
I have
when you look
never
at
seen.
when you look at Teofimo, that's pretty much what he's doing. He's not getting another trainer because he's already paying his dad. Like
Tio does the same thing. He don't sit down on his punches neither.
That's why Tio is mediocre.
Like y'all keep bringing up people who ain't doing what they supposed to be doing. Tio was trying to get with the Juice Crew, wasn't he? There's a reason he was trying to get with the Juice Crew.
And now I just seen Tiafimo. He was up there. He up there in camp with Pacquiao, running around with him right now.
Yeah, I saw Tio up there.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down, man, so I can go ahead and get with the wifey, man, for sure, man. Appreciate all of y'all for sure. Dad Queen, Amber Queen, teaching, Dondrick now, man, for sure. Appreciate y'all, man, for the day, man. This was a big conversation.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Oh,
Everybody,
for sure.
give out your closing statements, man. Go ahead, Dad Queen. You can go ahead and start off first.
You gargling, bro. But yeah, closing statements, man. I'm glad that this fight is being made. I do think it is going to be a good fight for both of these young men to put on their resumes, and it's going to be an absolute test for both men. I mean, I'm not sitting up here saying Devin ain't, he's trash, but he does need to step it up in competition, and this will be a nice fight for Brian Norm to add to his resume since he didn't want to fight Boots. But other than that, man, y'all know what it is. Catch me on the next panel. Thanks for having me up, Cam. I appreciate y'all, and everybody enjoy the rest of their Sunday.
All right, have a good one. With me, it's gonna
See,
be
look
pretty
at that,
short.
man. Ty Drexel, we're making some progress. We're making some progress. Gave Dev a little something. Man, I feel like we may need to watch the young Devin Haney. I'm about to leave the supermarket. When I get home, I'll fire it up. You can watch some fights, see what's going on with it. Probably like another 15, 20 minutes. Cam, appreciate you as always, man. T, Dondrick, everybody else in the chat, man. Much appreciation.
Yeah. With me, I agree with what Ty had to say with the closing statements, and I pretty much respect everybody's, opinion, how to fight. It's gonna go, and that's it for me. Thanks for having us.
All
All right.
Y'all know how I am. I'm ready to see the fight. I don't believe no fights until they there. Until they make it to the stage, I don't believe the fight gonna happen. So, but I hope the fight happens. I'm looking forward to it. Devin has a chance. I think it's 70-30. Everybody say 50-50. I think it's 70-30. Brian Norman. But hey, youth, he's the younger guy and the more hungry guy. So hey, I like it though. Appreciate you having me up here, Cam. See everybody else on the next panel.
Facts, bro. Salute to you, bro. And man, salute to everybody, man, for sure on this show. This was an amazing show, man. Always with the Roundtable show, always great dialogue, intelligent boxing conversation, man, for sure. And I hope y'all enjoyed the show today, man. If y'all watch this on the playback, make sure y'all like and comment on the playback for sure. And subscribe if you ain't subscribed, man, for sure, man. Definitely, man. We putting in some work over here and we're gonna ramp up the videos. It's definitely gonna be on the way. You know what I mean? We gonna keep it and try to stay consistent for sure. And we're growing, man. We're growing for sure by the day for sure. We almost at 300 subscribers. And everybody just, make sure y'all like and comment on the playback and share the content. Help us in the algorithm for sure so we can, get this content out in the algorithm much as possible to the airwaves for boxing out here. And salute to everybody, man, for sure, man. All my people's joining in today, man. Jag Queen Boxing, you know what I'm saying? Ring Wild Boxing Podcast, my man Thomas Hill, my man Amber Queen, um, Dondry Down, my man Teach. Man, salute to y'all, man, for sure. And salute to my man Rob Walker, man. No evidence. You know what I'm saying? All my people that was in the chat, man, for sure, supporting your boy today, man. This was definitely another great show for sure. And we will be back live Wednesday. And we know every Wednesday, sorry but not sorry, Boxing Talk, every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, man. So definitely make sure y'all, tap in every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Sorry but not sorry, Boxing Talk Wednesdays, man. We had a great show this Wednesday. And you already know, y'all gotta make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all had the notifications set to all, man. Had that notification bell set for sure, cause I always go live randomly in times and stuff, and I always, let everybody know on the channel through the community post that I'll be live. And if you following me, follow me on CamJNetwork on all socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok. We on all of them, man. And I always announce, on what time I'm going live on those on my social platforms as well, man. And salute to everybody on this, man. This was a great one, and we'll be back Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And we are out of here. Sorry, but not sorry. Boxing Talk.